You don't care? Here we go. We're going.
Ooh, the blur.
I know my camera kept like focusing and not like getting blurry on me. I was like, what the fuck, man? I think it looks better now. I still have an old camera. But yeah, it is live. We are live for episode 11.
It's that many already? Wow.
Yeah, which is
Abel's
almost
done more episodes than I have.
Is that true?
I don't know.
I made the first 5 or 6, but I've been like this. I've been like off and on, but I think you've been to at least 5, so you're right there.
I mean, I'm in
Which
the
is
chat.
great.
With the amount I chat, it might as well be. I think this is the third one I've been on, though.
Get you guys.
Oh, really? I thought you've been on 4 now, 4 or 5.
Oh, geez, am I bad at keeping
You're
track?
on mine, and then you're right, and then Go brought you back, and then this is your third one. Okay, yeah. For some reason I thought because Go had somebody else on, and I was thinking it was you, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I gotta have some feral guests on since you haven't been here. So,
Dude. All right, so go ahead. Do your opening.
the opening. Oh, so yeah, this is the Grif and Gho show, and it's about to become the Grif and Table show, or not the Grif and Table, the Gho and Table show.
I mean,
Fuck.
that's fine too, though. I'll do a show with Grif. That's fine.
Grif, Gho, and Table show. Episode 11. I had a title I made up at work today. I don't even remember what it is. Ulduar Eve, because Ulduar's out tomorrow. Finally. And yeah, we're just a bunch of druids. And it's an odd episode number. Therefore, it's supposed to be feral if we're trying to keep things original. And it's supposed to be on Grif's channel. And it's back on mine again. But I don't have a feral on the screen. It's 2 boomies. I didn't have time to change it. So it's even. There's 2 boomies on the screen. And then there's the 2 ferals to talk to. So thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And you guys might not know. Is it this way? I gotta wait for the stream to go. This is Grif. It's been a little while, but he's back. He's got the green screen behind him, so he looks a little different. He's got the hair floofed up, looking good.
Oh yeah, this is how I do my hair. If you guys have never seen me do my hair, this is how I do it.
Always looking fresh, dude.
Doesn't
Yeah.
it look?
Let me try
This
to.
side. Does it look clean? Oh man, this is like the first time I've done my hair in like 3 days, 4
There we
days.
It's a special occasion.
Yeah, I got all dolled up for you. What shirt am I wearing? Never mind, I didn't. But yeah. Anyway, okay.
Anyway.
Can I want to chime in. I want to chime
Yes, chime in.
in. I know you have a whole thing here.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
I can't talk. I can't stay on for the whole thing. I already told Go that I'm gonna just stay for the short period and let you and Table do your thing. But I want to talk about my experiences so far. And I know it is phase 2. So it's part of the intro. Phase 2 is here. I have been doing the heroic pluses and
Yeah.
having so much fun. Like, I did first one I did with a guild run, and it sucks when you don't win the satchel at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it was hard. I mean, there's still heroics, like Shrug, but like we wiped twice. Once due to me because I was tanking and I did a bad pull, and we pulled 2 packs, and like you can't pull a 2-pack pull anymore because you'll wipe, especially in OK. I don't know if you guys had the same ones. But it was fun. And then today we did Oculus. Oh my god, that sucked.
Ooh.
It's just the
Yeah.
extra health of everything. Like that one's already kind of shitty.
Okay, I will tell you, whoever was in my group, I should have taken a picture of them because they actually were really cool. Everyone did their job, and it made it so like everyone didn't just like what's it tunnel vision it and like not kill the mirror images. They like the mage was using his wand to kill them, and like I even saw a healer take a swing at something, and I was like, people are doing stuff. Like,
Imagine.
I know. Well, the thing is, with a guild run, you expect it, but when I pugged it, and I was like, oh, here we go. But it went really well, and I was really excited that non-tank and healer players are forced to do a role that's not pew pew pew, and they are doing it. Like, I'm happy. Like, they did it. That's what I'm excited about. Have you guys done them yet?
I did some yesterday. But yeah, go
I
ahead,
haven't done
Table.
any yet. I think the last ones I did were the ones that we all did together on the PTR.
And try it. You might
But I
like
mean,
it.
Rambo's gonna be happy to hear this, but I'm gonna switch one of my specs to Resto Weave, and I'm gonna fuck around with Resto Weave on in some heroic pluses, just to kind of practice for hard mode Vezix.
I'm curious how I haven't healed one yet. I'm curious how much the healers love it or hate it, because you take more damage, especially once we get to like we haven't had UK or UP yet, but like those ones slap because you can stand in that frost up. If they change it so it's a little bit bigger off the PTR, that might be nice. But yeah, like I imagine the healers hate it, but I don't know. Maybe they love it too.
We
It'd be
had
interesting. Like I grabbed a Spire of whatever it's called, Spire or whatever, that staff. I grabbed one of those for off spec like last week, and then last night in raid we had a couple of Forethought talismans drop, so I grabbed one of those also.
Oh
So I'm
man,
gonna do some messing around. We'll see how it goes.
yeah, for sure. That's man. There's so many, and the amount of purples now. Like
oh yeah.
if you were an enchanter, that's what I am. I'm an enchanter, so I'm just like clean it up, man. I mean, there's still 100 gold for the abyss crystals or whatever they're called. What's the main one? Is it abyss crystal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Still
dude, I feel like even though like you stayed enchanter, even though that's not like the meta like min max pick, but like we didn't need to be min maxing in phase 1, but also like it ended up being the correct call because now you're gonna be all set.
Yeah, like I think I made. So what I was doing was I was just rolling with everyone else. So with my guildies, whoever won, I just DE'd for them. But today, when I ran with people, if anyone won a purple that was just like agreed, I was like, hey, I'll buy that off you for whatever the
Enterprise
price is. Yeah, sure. And I think I made an average 70 gold per. I think in items I bought. So that was like almost 500 gold just. And I won one. I won one purple. But yeah, so like easy money. So if you're an enchanter, I mean, until the price, because the problem is the price of abyss crystals is going to plummet because everyone's going to start D'ing all that crap, and you're just going to see it. But until then, I made a killing yesterday. But yeah, I'm excited.
Even if you're not going to sell them, like it's good to just stock up. Like if you have an enchanter, even like an alt or whatever, just run a bunch of heroic plus and then just stock up on abyss for your upgrades that you're going to end up getting in Ulduar. Like do some scrolls for yourself, send them over.
Yeah, if I was raiding, 100%, that's what I do. But because I'm not raiding right now, because my internet sucks, I'm selling them. But yeah, you're right. Like I was talking, I think Sarth did a video and he was saying, carry your extra gems. I have not seen a single gem from fishing, by the way. If you've seen them, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. Am I clicking too hard? I don't know. But yeah, I want to do all those things. I'm just not raiding, and that's like I'm so frustrated because raiding starts tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch my guild struggle and just not be able to help at all.
No.
But have you guys done the what do you call it? The dailies, the new dailies?
Oh, the tournament
Defense
thing.
Protocol alpha things.
They're not fun. I'll just give you guys. I don't even know. I've done all of them and I don't remember what I haven't unlocked yet. But I've done all like the early day dailies. So like where you have to go around. Oh, you know how to joust and how to charge.
Oh, the Argent tournament stuff.
Argent tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I thought you were talking about a different set of dailies.
You gotta go to like Crystal Song Forest, like constantly. So like once you learn them, it's not that bad. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Argent tournament was going to take place in Crystal Song Forest originally. The developers were going to put it down there, and that's why a lot of the quests take place in Crystal Song because it was supposed to be down there.
And they just never moved the stuff.
Yeah, they moved the tournament, but they left all the quests down there. So you're like, gotta go, knock down trees and pick up leaves. And I'm spoiling this. You have to get rocks, leaves. You have to pick up a sword, and then trees. And then you have to kill some Scourge, which is really easy. It's all easy. It's just like, there's nothing fun.
I'm not doing it.
Cool.
No.
The Argent tournament, yeah. Honestly, like, it doesn't matter right now because that's phase 3. So, like, but yeah, for rep, I got it. Anyway, that's what I've done the last 2 days. I played both days.
2 days in a row, back to back.
Huge gameplay
on this crappy monitor. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, we did. Gundrak was our daily yesterday for the Titan Rune Dungeon.
What's
And
Gundrak?
It's like the Death and Decay, like the red stuff on the ground. And luckily, it was a guild run because it's really tank reliant for them to get the mobs out of the red bubbly stuff on the ground, and it's hard to see. And mobs were healing to full.
A DK tank probably hates that.
Yeah, we had Pally and a warrior tank. Same guy.
Hates most dungeons because they're not as good in dungeons.
Really? I mean, I don't think ferals are great in dungeons. I think they're good in dungeons, but I still enjoy them. Like I still like, yeah, this is fun. Like I tanked the Old Kingdom, and it's still fun to tank because I can hold threat, and I wear my feral kit, my cat set. I don't even bother wearing tank gear anymore.
Yeah, dude, honestly, as long as you have Glyph of Maul, it like doesn't even matter what gear you have. If you just have Glyph of Maul, you're fine on threat.
Swipe Maul. It's okay. Tab. Okay, I guess. Yeah. It's honestly, it's so much smoother now too, especially if you've got like my gear score is I think 44-13. So like my gear is just stupid for heroics, but yeah.
Yeah, with that level of gear, even just having cat gear is more than enough.
Yeah.
Today our daily is supposed to be Culling of Stratholme, and I remember that one was one of the easier ones. It's like you can turn into a zombie.
But if you've got something that can cleanse, it doesn't matter.
You just ignore the. Yeah, so I'm like, phew, at least like it's an easy one tonight because I might have to pug it because we've got the show and then I've got 10-man raids until like 11, and I'm not trying to stay up till 3 a.m. and try to like pug it and struggle through the new dungeon, but.
Why not, bro?
Nah, I got to do it on 2 tunes too. Like I got to get my emblems on the second tune.
I'm actually looking forward to pugging the heroic pluses because I think before when you run with pugs, you'd critique like, oh, this healer's healing, like no one's dying in heroics, like so you're just like, oh, this DPS is garbage. Now you can actually criticize people for like real things, like. This guy doesn't know the mechanics and he keeps dying. Like
this guy took too much damage.
Yeah, like it's not like you're not like a prima donna. You're not like, oh, my DPS is 5.3 and yours is only 4.1. Get good. Now it's like, hey man, you didn't do the mechanics. I'm better than you. That's something you enjoy, which I do. I enjoy the criticism. I'm
just glad there's no timer because like it would get super toxic real quick if there was a timer, kind of like how Mythic Plus got in retail. Like if there was a timer in these Heroic Plus, it would get extremely toxic because as soon as you miss a timer, all of a sudden the entire party chat would just devolve into like the blame game.
Honestly, I don't know. Okay, I want Mythic Plus for Wrath. I'm not. I know I'm not alone. I know other people feel this way. Heroic Plus is like, it's like the striptease of Mythic Plus. Like, oh, that was really hot, but I want I want it. I want it. And
I'll pay extra for it. There's the free version, but I'll pay.
It'd be cool if we could because have you looked at the upgrades? Like, not just like, oh, here's my gear, but like compared it to what you're wearing now. The stats are stupid. It goes like up. So you're going from like 43 agi on a weapon or on an item, I shouldn't say weapon, 43 agi on a weapon to like 83 agi. If they are even slightly challenging now, it's gone in 2 weeks when everyone's running 10-man gear and even just getting. So it would be nice to have like a little knob that you can like tick, tick. I know they're adding like, beta later or whatever, but I think it'd be cool to like have a true Mythic Plus. I don't know.
I think if nothing else, it'd be cool to have like some sort of, I don't know, because there is a way for them to track like your item level when you do an achievement, because that's how they did Herald of the Titans back in the day. Like you could only wear gear that you could obtain in 10-man, so like they just tracked that by looking at the item level. So I know it's possible to do that. It'd be cool if there was like a thing to do like all of the Heroic Plus stuff, like all the Titan Rune Dungeons below a certain item level. So like you know how like when we did the pre-made characters in the PTR when we were testing it, Blizzard did that because they wanted it to like feel challenging, because they wanted people to be in like the gear that they should have if they're doing those for upgrades. So if there was like some sort of achievement that it was like do all the things, all the Titan Rune Dungeons, below 200 item level or something like that would actually be an achievement to do, because it would actually be hard.
Or like on Epic. The only problem is it encourages you to carry gear I don't want to carry anymore.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's gonna be the same thing with Herald of Titans. Like, people are gonna have like a Herald of Titans set for doing that. So,
green only. I don't know.
People will do it. Like, people would definitely do it.
I would do it, but I just don't want to have to carry another gear set.
I can maybe get behind the timer if it was like a 30-minute timer.
That's a thing that Table hates.
It's not that I hate it. I hate what will happen in the party after the timer gets missed.
As soon as someone realizes you're not hitting it and they just dip out, you're like, oh, come on.
I mean, the answer, of course, is just to not pug. If there was a timer, just don't pug it. That's the answer to that one.
I mean, how many times have you been like ready to pull a boss, BRB 2-min? You're like,
yeah,
we're about to pull tank. What are you doing? And 6 minutes later, you have to sit there and go, should we replace him? Should we replace him? I don't know. We're gonna be able to pick up someone with one boss down. No, and then
fresh squeezed lemonade.
Yeah. Oh my god. The BRB 2 minutes that never is 2 minutes drives me crazy. Especially with the healer or tank.
We did have people's add-ons busted yesterday too.
Yeah, that was fun.
In the dungeon. Like,
dude, none of my tooltips worked, so like I couldn't even see how much hit rating I had. Like, I got a like a hit piece, like a side grade, and I was like, I wonder what this puts me at for hit. Do I need a shaman in my group anymore? Went to mouse over hit, nothing showed up because my tooltips are broken.
Yeah, my item rack's broken, and I use item rack to swap between my cat and that's why I said I tanked in cat gear. It's not because I wanted to. It's because without item rack,
the game wouldn't let you switch gear.
I'm like, I guess I can manually switch gear, but who does that anymore? Go.
Oh my god.
And bag-on wasn't working, so you would have to sift through the Blizzard bags. Like,
the type
how terrible.
16 and then your weapon, type it, the whole thing.
I was like, so I literally told the healer, this is the guild run, and I was like, hey man, I'm wearing cat gear, sorry. And he was like, yeah, whatever. It was fine, but like, yeah, it sucks when your add-ons just fail you. And you're so reliant on it. You're like, what have I done?
I already heard that people were reserving the bag, of course, at the end of the dungeon. The 3 extra emblems. Yeah. I was like, people are going to sell it. Tanks and healers are going to just reserve it. Like, it's going to be this whole extra little Titan Rune dungeon meta of people reserving stuff.
I think week 1, people will do it. And by week 3, no one's gonna care because it's not hard to get conquest stuff. Like you can run 10-man. Can't you run? No, you can't. I'm gonna say you can run 10-man Ulduar and get how many do you get from there? It's like 15 bosses.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot. So if you're not raiding, I guess you could still do that. But who wants to run with you? Because you could find a different group.
Well, either way, people do it on their alts too, because like there's BOE stuff you can buy from the conquest vendor, like the runed orb things, whatever those are, the new crafting material. Like I know I'm going to be doing on alts for my orbs, because I can't rely on getting the drops from raids. Like I'd rather just do a Titan Rune Dungeons on alts, like do the daily 3 times.
That's what I'm doing.
I think you can get a total of 6 per day. So by the time raid starts on Thursday, theoretically, you could have...
Oh, no.
And I can buy from Conquest are 19, or you can buy a Runed Orb for 18. Don't quote me. I'm trying to pull it from from when I looked at it yesterday, but I think it's 19's the minimum. So in theory, you could down 1 boss and pick up your first, not BOE, but your first vendor purple. So that's tempting to give like your tank tank, main tank, raid group tank, here, you can have it so that day 1, once boss 1's down, you go grab that item and I don't know how big of a deal that is, but that might be something people really want to do. But that's guild stuff. That's not pugging. If people are pugging, Satchel's mine. You're like, cool man, I'll form my own group. Thanks.
Just run loot council for Titan Rune Dungeons.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. Slash roll for this purple. Hold on. Oh, thank God there's not a timer because after every boss round, purple dropped. Let's see. Staff of the we had actually my first boss kill. We got staff the beast staff. I can't think what it's called. The feral, ravenous beast, or I can't think what it's called. But that staff dropped, and I was like, oh, that. I mean, I use it for, I think tanking right now because it's got one of the highest stamina. And I already had it, so I was like, whatever. But I could see someone like getting in an argument with you about that. Like, no, you only need on it if you need it. No, I don't care, man. Like, I agreed on everything. But I can see people getting worked up over those purples now. I don't know.
Like, people are always gonna be weird about purples. Blue is shiny. I want it.
But yeah, do the dailies, guys. So I'm not alone out there doing the dailies.
Oh, the tournament ones? No chance, dude. There's nothing that's gonna improve my parse in a raid. I'm not going out there.
No shot, bro.
I don't understand the feeling you get when you complete one of those dailies. I can't even express in words because it has so low value. But I think you should do them anyway.
They would have to triple the gold that they gave me at a minimum to start with.
Let me ask you. First of all, the gold's actually pretty crazy.
Haggling with the game.
It's like 20 gold per, and there's like 7 of them. So I guess it's 140 gold for 30 minutes. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not awful. I've heard of worse gold farms.
How's my video been?
Quality.
It's cut out a couple times, like it's frozen a couple times, but it's better than like previous. The other times, dude, it
not
was
being here, bro.
Yeah, that too.
No, I know, but like, man, I get so Go and I were supposed to start hardcore yesterday.
You guys were in a duo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got on. Yeah, he's like, well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna make Table do it, and I was like, no, wait, I'll go. Because I was like, I can just play, whatever. If you get a little bit like lag on like a level 10, whatever, especially with duel, because you've got a buddy to like, hey, he's frozen, I'll protect him. And so I was gonna get on. He got on like way before me because we both went hiking yesterday, and I get on and nothing worked. Like I literally like I opened up WoW and like it just was like, stop doing this, and like every single add-on was like on fire. So I was like, never mind. And then he's like, tomorrow I'm booked all day. So either do the podcast with me or you can F off. And I was like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it sounds like no.
Yeah, that's me.
He's a fucking bully.
The worst guy ever.
Yeah, he's guilt trip. I got to tell you, every Wednesday morning, I told him my internet's not working. I can't do the podcast right now. Every Wednesday morning. So you coming? Every Wednesday morning. And I'm like, oh, I'll try.
I gotta make sure. Maybe something changed. Maybe like the clouds moved overnight, and like the stars realigned, the satellite shifted, and all of a sudden you've got a good internet connection, and you can make it.
Boomkin, if anybody's gonna control the stars, it's you, dog.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bring that tree down right next to me with your hurricane, and we're good to go. There's one tree. That's what my problem is. One tree. If not,
can you imagine?
I can imagine him climbing up the tree and cutting it down. Yeah. Just cut the top of the tree off and it just swings.
Well, I mean, that tracks, because has there been a resto guest yet? So just chop down the trees everywhere we go.
I have yet to meet a resto YouTuber that I can name, and B, I don't even see them in like my Discord.
Can I segue here?
Yeah.
So it kind of ties into the poll. So I had one poll that I did yesterday. I was out hiking and I was like trying to think of something, and I was like dual spec in Ulduar, because I tried to utilize dual spec at the beginning of Nax.
Oh, this is a good segue. Nice.
Yeah. So I had the poll was, how will you use your dual spec in Ulduar? And I had like balance resto, balance feral, or I don't have dual spec. And
this is surprising.
The most percentage wise was balance resto. So I was on my phone hiking still after I posted that. I was like looking at the results. I check every like hour, and I was like, balance resto. So I was like, well, who's a good resto? Maybe I could like try to have them on and talk about like how to do balance and resto in Ulduar. And I did the same thing. I'm like, I don't see anybody like making resto bis guides or resto rotation or anything like that.
So shocking is 44% say their second spec is resto. Where are these people? Like, I don't even see resto druid healers when I run pugs. Like, you see holy paladins everywhere. You see priests everywhere. You see shaman everywhere. I see a resto druid like once every like 15 runs. And usually they're like, "Oh, I'm normally balanced, but I didn't feel like waiting for a group." But yeah, they just don't exist. Table said he's gonna go resto and main resto. That's what he just messaged us in Discord.
Well, I mean, honestly, if I'm starting to get bored, basically, like I'll do whatever I need to do to stay entertained. Like
Resto is
Like,
actually fun. I don't
Feral's
like
fun. Like I do have a lot of fun with Feral, but like it feels real bad to like do all this dumb extra stuff and still get beat
Still
by a
be-
2-button class.
Still no, not even beaten by almost everybody. That's the problem. Like maybe Ulduar, like we move up the ladder a little bit. We're not going to be S tier. Like that is the thing.
Well,
Like
our potential
guys-
goes up, but like a bunch of the fights are super melee unfriendly, which hits us way
Yeah.
harder than it hits the other melee. So it's like
Yeah.
on those fights, it's like, well, we might as well just tank. Like Kolagarn, might as well just tank. Can't shred, might as well tank.
Well, on top of that, man, on top of that, you kind of said it, but like you have to work so hard because you said potential DPS. Like you're right. Like if you're not great at that rotation, that potential drops down even more. So like you have to work your ass off just to be middle, like, or you can roll balance and just be like, oh cool, I'm higher to the top, or roll rogue and just win with a two button combination. It's tough to be a feral.
Oh.
That's why I
Especially
was
when
like unironically saying that I want to like try Resto Weave because it's like, well, eventually at some point, like we're gonna be dropping healers down, and if Ulduar is that bad for melee, like how much DPS is the raid really losing by me going hybrid as opposed to staying pure feral?
or going, I mean that's the thing, like, or going pure resto. And
Right.
like let's say you've got, man, I'm trying to think of like, because like honestly, I talked about this with Scotty J a long time ago. The play might be feral balance off spec, because for those fights that aren't melee friendly, it might make sense just to be a balance over a feral because your DPS is going to be higher and you're going to be able to actually like contribute.
Right.
Or because like normally you don't have people go the other way. Usually you have your healers ready to go damage, but you never have your damage ready to go heal, because like there's not a lot of scenarios. I should say there's not a lot. There are some where you need to increase your heal count. Like, oh, we need one more healer. I mean, that would be the place where you'd go, okay, I'll resto. But like most of the time it's, hey, we've got too many healers, go DPS.
Right. I guess
Like-
like the only other way is like because like Resto Weave is more like half a healer, really, like half a healer and like 2/3 of a DPS, pretty much, or maybe like a little more than that, like 3/4 of a DPS and like half a healer. So like if you're in a situation where you need like a little, like if you want to drop a healer or whatever, you could just have a healer who has a DPS off spec go to their off spec, and then the feral go Resto Weave, and then you have a little more damage and the correct amount of healing for the raid. Like it's a very specific scenario where you would do that though.
Yeah, I could see it more 10-man usage, like
Yeah, for sure.
where you've got less flexibility, not less flexibility, but you're more limited on what you can bring. Hey, we can only get 2 heals. We need 3. What can we do? Well, I can feral. What are we calling it now? What's
Resto Weave. You need like nurturing instincts to do it though. That's the talent that gives you healing power based on your agility.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. You have to be spec'd into it. But you're like your second spec could be, hey, I'll Resto Weave on this one fight, and that might be like because it still allows you to DPS most of the time. And then like, okay, during this part where there's tons of damage, I need you to heal. You're like, okay, cool. I'll throw up my healing touch. What's the play? Is it regrowth or healing touch?
It's both basically. Like you go glyph of healing touch, and either instead of glyph of Savage Roar or instead of glyph of Rip. Probably Savage Roar would be the one you drop, or you can drop glyph of Shred, because like you could also go Mangle spec for it, reduce mangle costs.
Have you done a full video?
No, I haven't even like actually done much testing yet. That's why I'm glad that Titan Rune Dungeons are out, because that's where my testing ground is going to be, is Titan Rune Dungeons.
Yeah. Like I mean, I think I posited this. I think that's the right word. Like on the not the PTR, but on the beta, I did the resto. I think I called it Resto Cat. And I said it's not viable early days, but maybe as your gear gets better, especially with your agi going up, that nurturing instincts, I think, is gonna really like you're gonna start to shine. I don't know if you're gonna be able to like solo heal, but you could definitely. And now we're starting to get into that spot where, like I said, we're almost not almost doubling. We're getting close to your agi numbers being just ridiculous, and it might just make that healing just viable as like primary healer.
Especially
like,
if you stack agi gems as well. If you have like agi greatness and stack agi gems.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it going just like completely the other way, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I mean, I haven't tested it since the beta.
I'm basically like the boat that I'm in as far as that whole thing goes is like if feral DPS doesn't feel good in Ulduar because of the way the fights are, then I'm okay with basically almost to the like sitting out a tier, essentially, like sitting out a whole raid tier on trying to pump and then just go fucking utility.
I mean, I think that's what happened with Nax. Like I wanted to be pure I wanted to be pure feral cat. I was so pumped for it. You know, I've done tanking since classic with feral kind of just being feral cat being in the background. And I was like, oh man, you know, Wrath Classic's going to be the time for our feral. And the reality was by like week 6, they're like, hey, can you just off tank? And I was like, yeah, okay. And because that's the reality, like you want to be your class, but you also want to be the most useful you can. And in Nax, the most useful was being a cat that bear off tanked.
Yeah.
And if that ends up being what it is in Ulduar, it is. But like maybe there is like Resto. I gotta memorize the name of it.
Resto Weave. It's literally just bear weave, except for instead of going to bear form, you just heal.
I want to say Restokin because I actually like the Restokin concept, but I know it's not a thing. Nobody.
Like the moon. There's like a moon glow spec that you could do, but like the problem with that is you're using your mana bar for both things. That's the problem.
Yeah. Whereas with feral, especially because if you guys don't know much about this, feral, when you're in cat, you're like crazy regenning your mana.
Yeah, because of the imp leader of the pack.
Yeah, you do not have mana problems, even if you're healing whenever you can. Like your mana gets low, you go back to cat and it's full in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's part of like why the whole thing came up. It's because like a fight like hard mode General Vezix, if we want to talk a little bit about some of the Ulduar stuff, hard mode General Vezix, the main mechanic of that is the regular regen just doesn't work anymore, but the regen you get from imp leader of the pack does work. So that's where this whole thing came up. Is like if you go nurturing instinct spec, stack agility, grab like a healing weapon or whatever that you swap to when you go to a heal. Use your predatory strikes procs on your predator swiftness. You use those on heals and whatever. Like you do that and get like a forethought talisman. That's the one where it's the trinket where when you cast like a direct heal, it has a chance to also do a hot. So if you're doing healing touches and regrowths, you can proc Forethought Talisman, and you can basically like be like a tank pocket healer essentially, and you're just DPSing. And then every time you use a finisher, you pop out of cat form, use your Predator Strikes proc on a heal on the tank, and just keep DPSing.
Yeah, and then switch. I mean, it's essentially you're giving up bear weaving for healing.
Exactly.
And I think if you're good at it, I mean, your DPS is gonna suck. Like.
I mean, it'll be almost the same. It'll be like basically take bear weaving out of what your cat DPS would be, and that's what your DPS is as Resto Weave.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be like 80% of what you normally do because you are also losing like your white damage if you're staying in cat all the time. You're doing white damage, which is going to be better. Obviously, if you're bear weaving, you're doing other like lacerates and mangles and mauls and things like that. But I definitely think it's as the gear gets better. It'll be interesting to see like what this looks like.
Yeah.
Like, is it more like what's the shaman one called?
Heal hands.
Yeah, maybe it becomes more like a legit heal hands, but I don't know.
I'm kind of like low key trying to convince my raid leader and guildmaster to just let me do that as main spec for Ulduar, but like it's a little too short notice to change things up right now because like we already recruited people to round out the healing comp and all that stuff. So I don't want to be that guy who's like, hey, because of this thing that I want to try, let's fuck up the whole roster.
I've got an idea for a video. Can I?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
That's what's great about alt raids, especially if you're like, because like I would do the alt raid, like the 10-man raid. I would just raid lead it, and if you're the raid leader, no one's telling you no. I'll tell you right now. I'm in an off heal as a cat. Don't worry, it'll be fine. No one's gonna be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're like, hey, I'm raid leading. You want your purples? You shut up.
Just be a dictator about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, there have been like when I've done 10-mans, if I'm not in the mood to tank, I won't tank. Like I'll bring 2 tanks and be like, I'm feral cat the whole time. Or if I want to be a tank, I just make myself a tank. That's what's cool about raid leading. And with that scenario where you're doing like kind of like a resto weave, you could bring 2 healers and be like, okay guys, and just so you know, we're gonna supplement the extra healing with the resto weave. Don't ask about it. We're just gonna see how it goes. No one's gonna sit there and go, whoa, 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 raid leader. They're gonna be like, oh cool, whatever. I don't care.
We think about like dropping healers. Like eventually everybody's going to be kitted out with Ulduar gear, hard mode gear, all that stuff. And then the meta is probably going to go back down to like, 2 or 3 healers. So you have like a Holy Pally on the tank, a Disc Priest on the raid, and a Resto Weave Druid doing supplementary tank heals and maybe throwing out some hots here and there to like the raid and whatever. Like it should work out. In theory, it works out. Like we could have been doing that in Nax as well. Like if I had thought to like actually try and think about it, because like me and Rambo would like chat about this stuff here and there, but like I wasn't like actually taking it super seriously until I found out about the Vezix hard mode thing, and I was like, oh, this could be like an actual thing that might actually be a good idea to do. If I had realized that sooner, I would have tried it out in Nax, but it's a little too late for that now.
Do you think this is kind of like, man, do you think that everyone has it in their head they're going to be doing way better than they actually are in Ulduar?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Ferals in particular.
Like once we get to Elgalon, I'm like, bro, like I don't imagine 50 to 60% of the people are going to even see Elgalon until like week 4, and that's optimistic.
I wasn't trying to get hyped. Yeah, like I'm expecting a slow progression.
I could see people getting through regular week 1, like high percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But like to get to Elgalon, you've got to clear all those hard modes, and I just don't see your average guild doing it they need gear. They're gonna do it in like week 2, week 3, week 4. And everyone's like, once we get geared, it's like, yeah, but how long is that gonna take? Like, because Elgalon drops so much good gear, and you're like, you're not even gonna see him for a couple weeks. Probably. And then you have to down him.
And then it drops 1 piece of loot.
Yeah. Well, no.
1 piece of hard mode loot, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's 2, isn't it? 25, man.
I hope so.
Elgalon? I think it's got to be 1 or 2, right? I think he drops the quest item too.
Don't hold me to it though.
Oh, he drops something that rewards the ring.
Yeah. It's the final item.
So, like I would count that as a piece. So I would say 3 pieces then, like 2 normal pieces and then the quest item that gives the ring.
Yeah, but it's still RNG on what drops. So everyone's like, oh yeah, once we get Elgalon, it's like, yeah, but and then the items have to drop, and then like I just think I hear some people like, oh yeah, once this, it's like, yeah, but when is this? Because I think Nax gave us this false sense of like, not security, because everyone knows Nax is a joke, but like I got geared really fast. Like I was at 4,200 in week 2. Like I was just like done, and like I was just kind of taking like leftovers. I don't think that's how it's going to be in Ulduar. I think people are going to hit walls. They're going to love 10-mans for the long time because it's going to be the greatest place to get gear fast compared to
even normal 10-man gear is still going to be an upgrade over Nax gear.
Yeah. And people are like dismissing it. Like honestly, I think, and I've said this to you guys, I know I've said it to Go before, I think average guilds should be doing 10-man tomorrow. Like if you're like, hey, let's go to Ulduar 10. Break your guild up into 2 or 3 pieces and get some decent loot, because chances are Ulduar 25 is going to hit you like a brick wall, and Ulduar 10 at least is going to let you get a couple pieces of gear and get you familiar enough with the fights that you won't suck when you get to 20.
Or even, if nothing else, at least familiar with the layout of the raid too.
Yeah.
Because Because you learn that stuff during 10-man, like the raid layout stays the same for 25. You learn where you're supposed to go in 10-man, then your 25-man stuff is going to be quicker as well.
Yeah, I know. Like our guild was like, yeah, we're gonna get the PTR and do 25. I'm like, do 10. Like, what do we just do 10? Like, I understand that hard mode is like all these things are cool, but no one's gonna be I don't know. I'm gonna watch.
I know what you mean though. Like that's the same boat I was in with my guild, because we only got on the PTR twice, and both times not like the entire raid didn't even show up. So it's like, what are we doing? What are we still trying to do 25 for? Like let's just do 10. Let people see the fights.
Yeah, the hardcore people that show up for PTR, let them actually see. Like I think I told you guys, I logged in. They kept pushing the time back because they couldn't get 15 people on, and I was like, let's just do 10. We're here. We're standing in front of Ulduar. We have 10 people. Let's go do 10. They're like, no, people are joining. I fell asleep. I was like, I never knew what happened.
I actually fell asleep.
Yeah, I was waiting, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit on the couch, and fell asleep because we were supposed to start at 8:30, and they didn't start pulling till like 11.
Damn.
And I was like, no.
Yeah. We had to sign up for 10 mans for tomorrow, like right when right when it's supposed to go live at 6 Eastern, and 15 people signed up. So that's that awkward number where it's like, do we pug 5 and get 2 groups, or do we just sit 5 people?
No.
So I offered to sit. I was like, 10 other people can go, but at least we have like one group that's going to get in there and get that experience. It's going to be the raid leader. He's going to see the fights again, even though he's been prepping his ass off. Like, he's got the spreadsheets ready for us tomorrow, like assignments and everything. But yeah, if we could get 9 other people to see the fights that didn't get on the PTR, that'd be huge.
I think that 15 is going to turn into 10 anyway. So I would log in, because they're going to be like, oh, you know what? I can't make it or whatever. Because we have that happen. We run 10-man Nax on Wednesdays. I think you do the same thing. And we get 15, 20 people show up, or 20 people sign up, and then we'd have like we like begging people to like either log in or just like to join group, because people were like, oh, I really don't want to. I think if you've got 15, you've got 10.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. I don't know.
I'll be ready. Yeah.
The other thing too is like there's all these people that are looking to like rush things, but like Blizzard has said multiple times that like they want phase 2 to last a while. They want to give Ulduar room to breathe, and like phase 1 lasted 16 weeks. So we can expect longer than that for Ulduar. Like there's really no rush.
I think that's what I mean. I would love for every boss to be like an accomplishment. I would love to like struggle and like trudge through. Okay, now we're gonna, and I think everyone's expectations are set so high. They're like, oh yeah, Algalon. You're like, man, why are you talking about Algalon? Like, you know how to do Hodir? Like,
yeah, let's talk about XT hard mode first.
Yeah, let's get through Memoron and Freya. And
like, man, it's like that guy who shows up for the first date. He's like, so if we were gonna get married, New York,
what kind of flowers do you want?
Yeah, like, I mean, Hawaii in the fall. It's you're like, what are you talking about? How about we focus on you ordered calamari and I ordered a pizza? We are clearly not compatible.
Yeah, I'm not eating calamari. I'm a pizza guy.
On a date. I don't know how I got there, but but yeah, Bumble.
So what you're telling me, Grif, is that if we go on a date, you're gonna order calamari?
No, I'm the pizza guy. You're the calamari guy. You're the weirdo who's ordering calamari on a first date. What is wrong with you?
I guess that does track. I'm the one talking about going to Resto Eve.
I'm gonna start making YouTube videos on like how to go on dates. Like, here's what you order and here's why. And everyone's like, no, you'd be an idiot because you're gonna order pizza on a first date. And I'm like, you know what? If you meet someone that doesn't like pizza, you should know right there. Walk away. Walk away. Run. And calamari? Where are you going then? Both pizza and calamari. Like, seriously, pick better choice. Make better choices.
There's places that have that both, man. I've worked at a place that was like a pizza place that had calamari.
Right, and when they tell you your lane's available, it's cool because you can hear it over the PA. But like most of the time, sorry.
And then you have to turn the jukebox down because somebody played Zach Brown too loud.
Yeah. Someone jumped your song on the jukebox. Oh my god, that's the worst. When someone pays that extra $1 to play their song next, and you're like, no. Sorry.
Well, so So you're hanging around for a little while longer. We're past that 30-minute mark. How you feeling?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you. I am buying a dresser, and the guy wants to meet me at 8:00, and it's 7 here. So I gotta go for sure in 20 minutes because
A dresser.
I don't have a dresser. If you saw,
Barely know her.
what
I knew it was coming. Grif didn't know.
Got him, dude. Fucking got him.
Dude, you froze him.
Yet, though, that's like unfortunate.
You went mage
Where are you
mode.
putting your clothes?
You just frost novaed him. He didn't even shift out of it.
So did he just rage quit the call because of my joke?
Wait, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here.
You're here. Okay.
So I went to Kohl's and bought like a $20 bin thing, and it only holds like a third of my clothes, so the rest are sitting in like a laundry basket. And listen, I've been 20. I get that a lot of people live like this, but it frustrates me to no end that my clothes are not all put away. Oh my god.
So like a stick from outside hanging across something and just hang all your clothes up.
Like
a
I've
bunch
done,
of hangers.
I've done stuff like I've done like where you just like, you put like a thing in a wall, run a clothesline, you hang your clothes up because you don't care. I'm not that age anymore. I need to be able to put my clothes away, hang my clothes up, and I can't. And I don't have a dresser, and it's
Bro,
frustrating.
you need to lower your standards.
Why are we talking about this? Let's focus on Feral. Feral.
Speaking of standards.
Feral.
Whatever. Standards. Okay, I am going to follow along with Gho's written thing. What kind of videos have you guys done?
There we go. Go ahead, Table. It's been a while since you've been on. I think you put out 2 since the last time you were on.
Yeah, just 2 because I've been playing a lot of hardcore, so I've been doing that instead of making videos, basically. But I did a hardcore video about caves because I started a caves only character where I'm grinding to 60 without doing any quest, just literally just by grinding mobs in caves. Because everybody says that caves are like the most dangerous thing in hardcore. So I was like, oh, word, I guess I'll level in caves then.
You know, you guys know how when you talk about WoW, everyone can play their own way. Like there's no wrong way to play. You guys have found the wrong way to play this game. I got Go over here only. I don't want to talk about the leatherworking thing because that's just stupid. And now you're only caves. What is wrong with you guys?
I mean, I ask myself that question on a regular basis.
There's a wrong way, and you guys have found it.
Oh, for sure, 100%. I mean, that's kind of the spirit of hardcore, right? It's just griefing yourself. Yeah. So I feel like I'm doing it right.
The harder grief you are, it's like one upping yourselves in like a bad way.
Yeah,
like,
one upping ourselves
as a resto the whole way. Resto druid, and I refuse to use anything other than white objects. And you're like, no, I was resto, grays only, and I still had to be in cat form.
Actually, I'm gonna do that. That's a good idea. Thanks.
Actually, I'm gonna be naked and do the nudist achievement, and
I'm gonna backpedal the whole way. RP walk backpedal.
I'm gonna
in first person.
I'm gonna play warrior, where all I can do is pull an object or an NPC, and then I have to run around away until someone else kills it, and I watch them die. That's it. That's the only. I'm not allowed to actually do the killing blow. That's the rule.
Do like a pally challenge where like the only kills you're allowed to get is from like ret aura.
we could have it where Thorns has to do our killing blow.
Oh, dude, legit, I'm gonna do that. I'm writing that down. I'm literally writing that down. That's hilarious. I'm doing that. That's not a joke. There's a talent that increases Thorns damage. Even I'm actually doing that.
Okay, guys,
look what you
did. I'm gonna
did.
save the name only Thorns.
But holy crap!
I'm here for the first guide video.
It's increasing Thorns damage by 15% is not impressive. It's 15% of 6. It's not like it's going from 6 to 7. Maybe 8.
Hey, bro, if I can only kill mobs with thorns, every little bit helps.
It is like, these are the most important levels of this journey. Level 6, you train Thorns. Level 12, you get Thorns rank 2.
Okay, this is what you need to do. I mean, you guys kind of probably already do this anyway. But you need to pick what spec you're going to be, and you can only get those spells. So you can't, like, if you're gonna go balance,
yeah.
you can't get any rejuve, you can't get any healing touch, you can't get any regrowth. If you're gonna go feral, you can't pick any balance, any resto. You got to go just feral. That is hardcore.
I've been kind of doing that. So I've died a couple times.
Afford it
Yeah.
because you're not willing yourself to own anything.
I'm not training bear or cat form. So it's only like balance and resto.
You got to get rid of resto.
Those are my restrictions. I need resto. I need it.
Thought I was joking. I just reserved only thorns.
On every single server, every single hardcore server.
Yeah, he's competing with a lot of people that are, oh man, I'm gonna really quickly play that meta.
The only thing that's gonna be rough is like, what am I gonna do before I get thorns? Because you don't learn thorns at level 1.
You have to kite mobs to NPCs, and the NPCs have to kill them, so they get the killing blow.
Okay. You only can do melee until you get thorns.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Or you can only use items that you can pick up and melee. So, like if you started in
you have to explore to get XP. Sorry.
Ooh,
sorry.
Word. Okay. It's possible. It is possible. Okay, go just figure it out.
I said it just to annoy Grif. I knew he was gonna hate the idea.
Guys, I'm trying to do hardcore with you guys. You guys just don't know where the line is. And I can imagine me like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go. And like level 1, and I'm like, let's kill stuff. He's like, well, hold on, let me follow through my rules.
Well, no, if we're gonna do like a duo or something like that, honestly, we should do a triple druid trio. That'd be fun. Side note, but if we do that, like,
for that,
if we do that, like, we're just gonna do a normal run. We're not gonna do any dumb weird stuff.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Like, I'll go resto. You can be tank, and Go can be a balance because it's the only thing he knows how to play.
What if we just all be tri-spec? Just all 3 of us be tri-spec.
But why? That's what I mean.
I said we're doing a normal run.
Why?
That's already not normal.
Like, okay, if we do 3, we're gonna go normal. This is why I'm afraid to join. This is why I don't want to do this, because like you guys are gonna agree to this, and then we log in. And you're like, actually, what would be cool? Something stupid. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, no.
So
no.
we need to turn it into a drinking game too. Anytime somebody suggests a stupid rule, everybody drinks.
And you guys are surviving on killing by just thorns. And
there's less normal things I've heard of.
Sorry. That was me healing. If you guys don't know.
Is that
That's what his sword looks like when he heals. He just throws stuff in the air.
Oh man. Dude, my eyes are watering.
Sorry. So videos are done. We didn't say that.
Anyway, yes, I did a caves video.
The caves video. The caves video helped, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, this is like a legit thing. This isn't like this is not a meme. Like, I'm actually doing this video series of like, because caves are actually like one of the things that kills people the most in hardcore. Like, they just die in caves a lot.
Just to like show people how to survive like your average cave.
Pretty much like I found, because there's only a few cave layouts in the game, so basically in every cave layout there's going to be like certain evade spots and whatever. So it's basically just me going around in different caves, finding the evade spots, and then showing people where they are in a video, so that if they have to go into that cave, they know where the evade spots are. If they get into trouble, they can get in the evade spot and possibly not die.
You know why that's like not even like short term, but like if people play Cataclysm, even though like yes the map changes, the cave layouts don't. So once they learn that, when they're like, we level in Cataclysm, because a lot of people are going to really enjoy that. I'm personally going to have a good time with the new map. I think stuff like that would be helpful, like to know, like, I mean, if you ever watch like mages doing farms, like half the thing you're learning is like where are the reset spots. Like, and like they'll be like, oh, and here's one that I used to use here, and you're like, cool, put that in the back of your head, and if things go bad, you know where to go. And I think just as a general for caves, I think that is actually like really beneficial.
Yeah, and I didn't see anybody else who had made any videos like that, so I was like, cool. I found a little niche to carve out, I guess.
Yeah.
And it just kind of something that just more or less fell into my lap as a video idea, like a video series idea, just because I was already doing this cave challenge character, and I was like, well, if I'm finding these evade spots for myself so that I cannot die in caves, I might as well share the information with everybody else.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So there's that one. And then I did the other video I did. That was just the first video in a series. Like I'm working on the next one and stuff. I got like 3 or 4 more in the pipeline. But then the other video I did was a Wrath one. I did a video on trinket toggling, which like people who have played on private servers or who already knew about it were already doing trinket toggling. But this is more of like an overview for people who didn't know that this was a thing that you could do. And like the TLDR of the whole video is basically when you equip a proc trinket, it just activates the ICD. So you can, if you know what the ICDs are of your proc trinkets, if you have a long enough pull timer, you can unequip and re-equip your trinket such that the ICD ends when you're gonna hit berserk in the fight. So you can time it so that you get your trinket procs when you hit berserk. Because like if you could choose when your proc trinkets would activate, that's when you would choose them to activate, is when you're hitting berserk. That's the most damage you can get out of berserk, is having your trinkets up. So you unequip and re-equip your trinkets during the pull timer such that when they come off cooldown, it's when you're gonna hit berserk. It depends on when that's going to be in the fight. But if you have a long enough pull timer, you can line that up. Just do the math, line it up, and then you can pump a little harder.
What's the name of the weak aura you created so we can track that?
I did not create a weak aura. I just wait until I see the time that I need it to be on the pull timer, and I just toggle my trinkets at that time.
That seems like if there isn't already a weak aura, that seems like a great idea for a weak aura.
There is an aura pack that will do that. Like I can't remember the name of the pack, but there's a pack that like Death Knights use for like their snapshotting and stuff like that has weak auras built in that does that.
That's cool. Yeah, because like I think like I actually watched that video, and I found it really like I knew there was a GCD or internal cooldown on the thing. I just didn't know what it was, and I think everyone assumed it was 30 seconds, right?
A lot of people did assume that because that's what it is for equip items.
45. Yeah, it's 45.
But it's 45 for most trinkets. It's literally just puts the trinket on ICD. Somebody pointed out in the comments that like it's different for Mirror of Truth. The one for Mirror of Truth is 50. I was like, oh wait, that's just the ICD. So maybe I just like basically I thought that it was 45 across the board, but that's just because all of the trinkets that I was using to test it were all 45-second ICD.
So it's some things you don't know.
Yeah. So, but it's not 30. I tried doing it as 30 like earlier in the phase, and I was like, why are my trinkets proccing 15 seconds later than they're supposed to based on my calculations? And it's because it's 45, not 30. So I did that for like the last probably 6 or 7 weeks of phase 1, and my burst window for berserk was insane. Like my damage during berserk was way higher when I was toggling than it was at any other time because I had both trinkets up. I had Grim Toll and Greatness up during berserk, like the entire duration of berserk every time I did it. So of course
99s for it too. Yeah,
I like a few. Yeah, I like a handful of 99s. Not all of them were new 99s. They were just like updated 99s.
Yeah, but still.
But I mean, a 99 is a 99, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if Boomies would really do this too much because we kind of won our burst in the opener. You could, though. You could try to line it up with like the first lunar and try to get it like 8-10 seconds into the fight for all your trinkets and stuff to proc. So maybe Boomies could try this out and stuff. But I don't.
Well, if you're haste stacking, I think it makes sense, especially if you're trying to time it with bloodlust heroism. But yeah,
you could even do it on like if you know you're going to lust at the beginning of the fight and you have a haste trinket that you don't want up during lust because it'll like mess with your whatever, you can toggle that trinket to purposely not proc until the end of lust. Like you toggle it right at the start of the fight, so like it's procking at the end of lust or whatever. Like you could do it the opposite way too. You could prevent your trinkets from being active during a certain part of the fight as well.
That's smart.
But that's a thing that's going to be useful in Ulduar also. Like that's not just a phase 1 trick. That's a trick that's going to carry through the entire expansion.
Knowledge. Yeah, that's just helpful. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the other video.
What did Go have a video about gear planning?
I did, yes. So I'm in a guild that uses loot list, and hold on, would you be
loot list?
Loot list. It's kind of like That's My Bis, I think. A little bit. That's what my fiance uses and the guild she's in. But like loot list is kind of, there's even a couple different variations of that. So it's like a spreadsheet. Each raider fills it out. You put whatever items you want the highest on the list, which is like row 50, and then it's like 49, 48, all the way down. So like your highest items are up in like the row 50. So I was trying to like be not like exposing my list because guildies watch my videos and they would
Just
be
snag
like,
your items.
yeah, they'd be like, oh, well, he's got this up here, so I can move this up here, so I have higher prio on it than that. So at the end of the video, I was like, if you want to see my actual list, like shoot me a message on Discord. I've had so many people message me on Discord I was not expecting. Like it's good though, it's great. But I'm sitting there hiking yesterday. I'm just getting like pinged every like 5 minutes. It seems like, hey, can you send me your list? I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. And I can finally publish it like tomorrow. But I wanted to get the video out there. Like it's almost been a week, so that people could have like an idea of how like the items that I put higher on my list. So like I didn't put a spot, but it's like the weapon I had up there, but I didn't use like the actual best in slot weapon that everybody else is going to go for. I kind of went for like a realistic set, which a lot of other content creators are doing. They're putting out like a realistic BIS set.
I mean, that's just smart though.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, I don't like the 4-piece, but I'm going to get 4-piece because it's less contested. It's less 252 items I have to try to fight over with other guildies. Like trinket for Boomy is going to be like really high on the list.
I think everyone should do, like, you should find like, if you have a BIS item that's like low contested, like let's say you've got a leather item that only Boomies go for, you put that as low down your prio list as you can, because the stuff you want at the top is the stuff that's highly competitive, because other people are making tough decisions between like A and B. And if you can eliminate B and just put A, you have a higher chance of getting it. And like, I remember for phase 1, that staff that Ferals want, I put that number like 30 on my prio list because no one else is taking that. I'm not competing. I'll put it on my list, yeah, but I'm not gonna put it number 1 even though it's the best item. Like the staff was the best upgrade, but I'm getting it regardless. Same thing with tier stuff. Like most of that tier stuff is gonna like fall into your lap. Putting tier gear high ends up pushing a lot of the good stuff away from you. So like it's kind of like strategy, which sucks, but like that's the game, man.
I see in chat Ryokai's asking about if we saw his updated set, and I'm trying to find it.
Oh, is that like a BIS set that they made?
Because he found the high simming set during PTR, and he said he just did an update. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it because like fucking everybody spells Ryokai's name differently. So like I'm trying to search him on the Druid Discord, and I can't find him because I'm spelling it wrong too.
Yeah, make sure there's 2 I's because when spelling Grif's name, I tried to use 2 F's. It's not 2 F's. It's only 1 F. So if they have 2 letters, make sure you have both letters.
All right, so it's in the Q&A thread pins. I am in that thread, so.
Oh, I can. Oh,
I see it.
Okay.
Immediately, it's right at the top.
Guys, this is my segue. I've got to go.
Okay.
you have a window to switch to.
We have a what?
Screen to switch to. So
screen to switch to. It's probably going to be busted, but thanks for the heads up, so I can.
But when I drop it, maybe I'll fix it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Gotta go get the dresser. I'm so glad that this worked better than it has in the past.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, by the way, I tried to open up the stream on YouTube on my other screen, and everything just died. Like I had to like close it quickly. So that's how like right on the edge of data I'm pushing myself. So
yeah.
Thanks for coming, Table. Thanks for holding the fort up. Right, go. Hey everybody. I'm gonna bounce.
Always a pleasure, Grif.
Hey,
good to hear from you again.
See you, man.
Yeah. See you soon.
All right, let me try to fix the things. Ooh, that's not that bad. We can still see both of our faces. So while you're looking up that list, I can readjust
I gotta
it
pull
here.
it up, dude. There's a bunch of people in the sheet right now too. Oh, okay. So I see the main difference that I'm seeing right now is what is that? Badge neck. I think that's badge neck. Mims goggles instead of what was the other one? Tier instead of tier, and tier shoulders instead of the hard mode ones.
Oops.
Tier chest. So this is a 4-piece set.
4-piece for Feral?
Is this the? Oh, this is realistic 4-piece in Dreambinder. Okay. Let me find. Is there one I could just read? But there's it's listed. He's put the amount of DPS on there and everything. Okay, so
Yeah, my set was like a couple hundred DPS below like the actual Boomy Biss set. So I was like, I can deal with that. It wasn't like 1,000 DPS below or nothing. So I sacrificed a couple slots. I'm still gonna use Dying Curse instead of going for Scale of Fate, whatever that is. So like I'm only prioring like one trinket, which every Boomy should prio that trinket because the trinket for Boomy is the only item that stays with us through phase 3 as well.
yeah,
Everything else gets replaced by like a minor upgrade, but everything else gets replaced.
it's good to know about all that stuff though for sure. Dude, Ryokai, this sheet is incredible. So he's got it all separated out based on like, so there's like the leftmost column has like all of the realistic sets, and then as you go further to the right, each column further to the right has like, okay, here's that set, but here's a bigger upgrade or a contested upgrade, and then like the furthest to the right column is like the super loaded up set where you have everything actually full bis, and it's like actually kind of nuts. So it looks like, so Rick, I just confirmed for me, I'm seeing the 9825 set. Is that the highest simming set that we found so far?
Wait, what was your highest? You said 98?
9825.
So that's only like 500 below Boomy. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's what I mean though. Like it's almost 10k, 9830. What am I missing? Which one am I not seeing?
Oh, in the meantime, let me make Rio a mod so he can post the link in the chat. Add moderator.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't looking right. So okay. There's a whole separate thing that just says Phase 2 Alliance True Biss, like the actual full True Biss. Okay, I see it now. So that one, okay. So this one looks like it seems like this is the same set that you linked previously, where it's Dreambinder, Fluxing Embrace, Drape, Intruder, Infinity, Tier, Helm Gloves, Soul Devouring, Cunning Deception, Crafted Boots, Algalon Ring, Quest Road Ring, Comet's Trail, Mjolnir. That's the setup that I remember you linking before. So it's kind of good. It's kind of good that seems like it's more or less the same set that you linked previously, which is nice. But dude, the fact that this whole sheet, the way that you have it set up, this is like the exact resource that we need. Because like so many of our pieces are contested. That like, okay, well, what if I don't want to go for that? What do I do? So like, you literally have it all. Like, I can't even imagine how much time this took you to do. Like, thank you for doing this, not just so we can talk about it, but like for the greater feral community. Also, that's really cool that you did that.
Yeah, tomorrow. I should be able to post my list tomorrow. And I can put out a tiny bit of information like that. Not even close to probably what he did put out, but I'm kind of like nervous though that I've been telling all these people, like showing all these people like, yeah, this is where I proud my stuff, but it kind of depends like person to person. Like what they're going into phase 2 with, their raid comp, a whole bunch of stuff, but man, this spreadsheet.
So, now, since you're in chat, Ryokai, because Ryokai is he's become like one of the people that I look to when it comes to people who are like really good at like working the sims out, like working with the simulator tools to like find different options and stuff like that. Like he's much more well versed with the sims than I am for sure. But he's one of the people that I look towards for that stuff. So at some point, Ryokai, I want to like get with you to talk about like how we could potentially model resto weaving in any sort of simulation at all, because like it's an idea that I'm like actually serious about trying to do, because of the fact that so many of the fights in Ulduar are like not great for us, and it seems like if we were going to do a sort of like a hybrid situation to like drop down to with the healing situation and all that stuff, like if we were going to do something like that, it makes sense to me for ferals to be the ones that do that. And I just don't know mathematically if it like even would work. So somebody who's good at doing the sim stuff like you would help out a lot with that. And if we can figure out something cool, then it might be a thing that like more people would want to do instead of just me, one crazy person trying to force something to be viable.
Yeah, the balanced druid sim, like Dev, I think there's only one, and he does some incredible work on that thing. And recently, like, no one's found like a bug in ours for a while, but I did get a message from Last Cares, who's like really big in the Discord. I had him on last week, I think it was, and he also runs like the Wowhead thing. He shot me a message yesterday and was like, there was a bug on the sim. It wasn't using Scale of Fate. I think that's the trinket. I don't like that trinket, so I don't know the name of it. I think it's Scale of Fate. But he was like, it's not proccing it correctly in the sim, but it's been fixed. So now I'd been telling people like Pandora's Plea is kind of close to Scale because of previous sims that people had done, but now like Scale's looking a lot better than it was by like 25 DPS or something per like time increment that it was tested at. So please still okay if you're not trying to go for Scale of the Fates, but Scale's looking a little bit better than it was. Sorry, little tangent. I always got to talk about boomy stuff.
That's definitely like that's one of those things that like is it's like a useful like conversation topic for really anyone. Like figuring out those different types of things with gear, like the very, very slight variations. Like that's useful for anybody because those types of situations are going to pop up. It's easy enough to like load up a sim tool and find out what the high simming set is. But like, what if you don't have access to all of that gear? What if you got to make do with what you got? What's the best combination that you can scrape together with like off pieces and like scraps that nobody else wants? Like that type of stuff is going to be more useful for the average player than just knowing what full biz is. So like being able to tell the difference between pieces like that, like you were just talking about, I feel like that could be a topic for its own video because that's like a supremely useful thing to be able to do as a player.
Yeah, like one big thing I did was because I'm only going for one new trinket is I've accepted I'm going to have Dying Curse throughout phase 2, which Dying Curse,
I mean, that's not bad though. That's a good chunk of hit. You don't have to worry about hit for some stuff. Like that's
got a lot of
super
hit.
good tied piece to tide you over until you get more stuff. Like I'm kind of in a similar boat with Grimtoll. Like I'll probably have Grimtoll for a while too until I get some more hit pieces. So like, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and that changes like 2 other slots, I think, just having Dying Curse. It's like, well, okay, well now I've got to change like a neck or a cloak or something like that, and then maybe even like a gem here or there too. So it's like, it ends up being like 150 DPS lower, I think, just for like the one item, the one trinket, like not going for it, which
is kind of crazy
hurt.
when you think about it. Like that much DPS for a trinket seems kind of nuts.
Yeah, but yeah, it's also a playstyle thing too for me. Like it's one thing to see like a DPS on like the sim, but then like I feels craft a lot. It's been working out for me. Check my logs. But
well, the thing is like people just like a real quick side tangent. People like to talk about Fieldscraft as being like, never do it. Fieldscraft, blah, blah. If you only Fieldscraft, that's when it can get dangerous. But if you're using Fieldscraft to figure out like, well, this should work, let me test it now. If you only Fieldscraft and never test things, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But doing it in conjunction with testing to figure out what you should test, like that's not bad. Fieldscraft in general is not a bad thing to do. It's just you got to be careful about it.
And like going back to the sim, I don't sim too often. I might sim like once a month, once every 5-6 weeks. And going back to it after not simming for a while, it's like I have to recheck all the settings. It's kind of daunting for the balanced druid, at least, to get on there and make sure you're testing everything right. It's got all these rotation options, like use Moonfire, don't use Moonfire. You have to switch your glyphs, you have to switch your talents. So it's like, dang, like every time I get on there, I know it's going to be some work and I have to put a little bit of time aside. I can't just like click on the link, hit like sim iterations and then like figure something out immediately. Like you have to think about it before you sim
definitely
stuff.
you get out what you put in. If you put the time in to make sure it's running the way that it should, then you're going to get the results that you need. But like that's another example of why like so many people just don't bother with it themselves because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and the people that do it, like you're saying Rio does, like they know
Rio's fucking goated, dude.
They know their shit.
Rio's one of the OGs of like doing the legwork. Basically, that was the word I was looking for. The legwork. Like Rio does the legwork, and a lot of other people just kind of benefit from the results of Rio's legwork. So Rio definitely deserves a lot of shout outs for the work that he puts in to help out with feral stuff for sure.
Hell yeah. All right, are we satisfied with our simming stuff and everything?
Yeah, I think so.
So we've got a lot of hardcore stuff to talk about. We've got about an hour left, a little bit over an hour, and tons of hardcore to talk about. So I'll start it off this time with like the hardcore stuff I've done in the last like week or two since I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks since you've been on. I got to catch you up on my hardcore experience. I died. That's what happens in hardcore, right?
First death?
I've died 3 total times. One I still don't count. I don't even bring it up. It doesn't matter.
Like DC or something?
No, it was trying to travel to a different starting zone.
Oh yeah, I barely like. That's not you trying to play the game. That's
you
trying to get so you can start playing the game.
I've died once.
I guess I wouldn't really. It's technically, it is a death. A death is a death. But also, like you didn't die because you were playing the game. You died because you were traveling.
I made an error, but yeah, I've died once in Classic Era and once in Wrath. So like my Classic Era death, I tabbed out. I had a different screen over my screen, and I tabbed back in. My screen was gray. I died. A patrol came by and killed my first tune. So then
what did you learn?
Yeah. This is all learning experiences. Like all 2 deaths have been learning experiences. And it's something that I had heard about, like, not to do. And of course, that was one thing I didn't heed the warning, and I paid the price. So yeah, Classic Era, I was like, all right, I did that. I've experienced that a little bit. I'm going to try Wrath. So I've made a Wrath tune. And Wrath's hardcore population is not even close to Classic Era.
Yeah, nowhere near it.
You log on, you might see 1, 2 other people in peak hours. There might be 5 or 6. You go on Classic Era, there's thousands, like there's hundreds at least on at a time. Like you can't even
3 guilds full on the Lion side.
You can't even get into the guild. Yeah, like the 1 to 19 guild, there's 3 of them with 1,000 player cap, and you can't even get in. Like it's insane how populated it is.
It's to the point where I don't even bother asking for an invite till I get to like level 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my Wrath tune, I was cruising along. I was soloing stuff. I soloed a couple dungeons. I did Dead Mines all the way through Cookie. I didn't do the last 2 bosses on the ship at the top. I did a full solo clear of Black Fathom Deeps, and I was like, cool. I'm cruising. I'm level 28. I think I had got up to level 30, and I had picked up all the quests for stockades. So I was like, time to solo stockades. I got this. Confidence was high. I ran in there. I killed like the first little boss is like a big ogre, I think. Ogre orc. Downed him. I went down like one side.
Or the dread or whatever.
Targor, yeah. Downed him. I was like, oh yeah, stockades. I'm over leveled. This is going to be easy for the rest of the run. I was on a Discord call talking about phase 2 loot. Wasn't paying too much attention. I had it in my head. I was like, I don't need to clear all these side rooms. They respawn really quick. I want to just get in, do the quest, kill the bosses, and get out. And I went...
Let me guess, runners?
No, I went down... I don't even know what the name, the name of the boss. I didn't even rewatch the death clip. Maybe I did once, but I don't even know what the boss is, but I think I went to the right in Stockade. So whatever's at the end of that hallway with the 3 little extra rooms down there, whatever that boss is, I think that's who I met my demise with.
The ogre guy or the human guy?
It's a human guy. I don't know if it was Dexter and Ward. It might have been him.
Yeah.
So I went...
Dexter and Ward's the dude, the human guy, and then I think it's Hamhawk is the ogre.
Oh, on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I went down there and I was like, I'm not clearing the side rooms. Don't need to worry about those. I'm just going to pull like one ad in the room, and maybe the boss pulls. If it does, I'm good. And I'm a night elf. I have Shadow Meld. Shadow Meld's an easy out. I hit Shadow Meld if I'm in combat. I drop combat, everything resets. So I'm like, I'm safe. It's not on cooldown. I pull the ad. The boss comes out. It's 2 ads with the boss. And I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. I can like Nature's Grasp. I can root these mobs. I can kite, kill one, Shadow Meld, reset, all this stuff. Well, by the time the boss and the first 2 ads get to me, all of a sudden 1 ad from each of the side rooms comes out too. I guess you're supposed to clear the side rooms, or else they pull with the boss, and 1 or 2 of these mobs stuns. So now I can't Shadow Meld. And it was not like a slow, like agonizing death. No, like they came up, they stunned. I didn't realize what was going on like right away because I was on a Discord call. I get stunned again, and I'm spamming like Shadow Meld, and I'm just dead. I was like,
get chain stunned.
Yeah, I just got like twice, 2 stuns, like 2 seconds long or something, and I was out.
You absolutely hate to see it.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, sounds like hardcore to me, dude.
Yeah. So I learned that lesson. I need to clear the rooms and stockades if I do Wrath again. So I remade another tune, my 3rd tune, back on classic era.
Is that the one that actually has Go in the name?
Yeah, it's Going to Live. So
Going to Live, yeah. That's a good name, dude.
Yeah. And
solid name.
I think I'm back up to like level 18 or something on there. I've streamed some of it. I haven't streamed some of it. It's kind of like my chill tune right now. So
I've gotten to the point now where like my actual like main characters, I've stopped using my normal names now because like it's like I feel like I take myself too seriously when I'm using my actual names. Mm-hmm. Like my first ever hardcore tune, I just named Table Slam. He got to level 27 and died in the mine in Stone Talon, doing the quest to like protect that stupid goblin. I'm sorry, he's a normal goblin. He's not a stupid goblin. He's just a normal goblin, but but the quest is stupid. Because I pre-cleared the entire mine. The problem is that the respawn timer of the mobs is shorter than it takes for the quest to complete. So no matter what you do, at some point there are going to be respawns during the quest when you're trying to do the quest. And if that happens, it's going to be rough. It's going to be real rough. So that, of course, that happened to me. I got respawns during the fight and or during the waves. It was like, you clear one wave, and usually there was time to like drink up, heal up between waves. And the fact that I got respawns in between waves, I was fighting the whole time, and I killed the mobs like right when the next wave was coming in. So I wasn't able to re-heal and mana up or anything like that. So that was kind of unfortunate. My unfortunate end there was the next wave spawned in, and it was a 4 pull instead of a 3 pull. And I was like going into it like, oh, this is like a level 21 quest. I'm level 27. This should be no problem. Like I went into it with all the confidence in the world, and then that 3rd wave spawned, and it was a 4 pull. 2 of them were casters, and I was like, oh shit.
Dude, casters hurt.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way out of this. Like it was the point where like I should have done the Light of Elune quest first and Light of Elune my way out of the thing and like got to an evade spot, but it was such a sheer moment of panic that I didn't even think to do that. Like I knew the evade spots and everything. I'm cave guy. Like I know the evade spots. And I was such a heavy bout of panic that I was just running, and I was like, where do I don't even know where to go. Like it was over so fast. So after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to leave that character as a ghost. I'm not going to allow myself to make another Table Slam until I get a different character to 60. So then I started leveling Ladder Slams, because that's the name of my main on Pagel is Ladder Slam. So I started leveling those, and I just kept not getting very far. And then I was like, you know what? I'm done naming my characters after my actual names that I use. So my most recent one that died at 15, I named him MCP My Pants.
You were just on that today, weren't you? Or yesterday?
Yeah, he died. I was
today.
Yeah, he died at 15 today. There's achievements that they added in. I don't know if you saw them yet. It's in the most recent update to the add-on. But there's like you do /HC show, and it brings up the add-on. Let me actually bring it up. There's like a questing section, and you like there's boxes you can click to exclude the horde only quests or the alliance only quests depending on what faction you're playing. And like there's like a whole bunch of stuff like do this particular quest before you get to this level. So I had already done the first 4, which is like do the Ben Ethel Barrow Den quest before you hit level 10, do Vagash before you hit 11, do Hogger before you hit 12, and do Benny Blanco before you hit 13. So I had done all 4 of those, and I was on the 5th one to do In Defense of the King's Land and kill Gromug, which is the Trog boss guy in the cave, to do that before 17. And I went into that cave and did it. I killed him before 17, but I hadn't done the quest chain yet. So when I went back in to do the quest chain and died the second time I went in after I had already killed him.
Yeah, so I did the quest and got him down using your evade spot in the cave. And
Nice.
I don't remember what level I was though. I think I might have been 17 or 18. I don't remember, but lock mode on, like in general, there's not that many quests, and I've been trying to like just quest there. And like now that I'm at 18, there's just like elite quests left. So I did that one because I knew there's a reset spot, but the other ones, they're really rough to do. But
Yeah, they're definitely and those mobs are like they don't individually hit that hard, but there's so many of them packed in and they run.
yeah,
And like for some reason, I don't know what it is with Trogs, man, but like Trogs, when they run away, you know, like how some mobs, like you get them low enough health and they like RP walk when they're like running away. Trogs freaking sprint. Like I don't know what it is. Like Trogs are just built diff, I guess. But they sprint away and they like go to grab all their homies and stuff, and it's not a good time.
yeah.
But you know,
My druid, my most recent one, back on classic era, I got to level 3 in the starting zone. I got on the boat. I took it over to Aberdeen. I took that boat to wetlands, and I swam along the coast all the way down to Westfall.
you did that whole swim at level 3.
Yeah, I went
Like,
down there.
It's not a dangerous swim. It's just like that's pretty early to do it. You can do it that early, but you got to watch out for those murlocs.
Yeah, so like the Murlocs there, since it's classic era, and classic era, the server pop is just insane. The Murloc camp just happened to be clear when I got there, so I ran right up the mountainside, got into Elwyn Forest, ran to the human starting zone area, did all of those quests, got up to level 6, trained my spells, took the tram over to Ironforge, and then I did the entire like Gnome Dwarf starting area. And I think I only got up to like level 7 or 8. It wasn't that much XP for the level I was, but got up to like 8, and then I did all of Dunmodar and went over to Lock Mode on. So like I've been doing all of like the gnome stuff this time. Each time I make a
Did you say
tune.
Dunmodar?
Is that what it's called? What's it called?
Oh, okay. Because there's a place called Dunmodir, and that's like
Dunmodir?
a subzone in one of the other zones. I was like, wait a minute, what?
I don't know. Whatever,
Some-
like
the dwarf
outside
zone.
of
Okay, okay.
Ironforge.
Just
Yeah,
making sure.
the snowy area
was like,
outside
wait a
of
minute, what?
Nomergon.
I mean, that's kind of what I assumed you meant, but like
Yeah.
you were just talking about like taking boats and going all over these random places. Like maybe he did go to Arathi or whatever it is.
I don't know. I'm not a lore guy. You're the lore guy. You tell me.
Lore guy.
Yeah, like
I'm just gonna say that like
The
if
geography
I
guy.
get lost somewhere, like oh you're like oh didn't you read the map? I was like dude, I'm not a lore guy. It's on the map, bro. Too lore.
yeah.
Not my thing, bro.
Yeah, this time I'm actually trying to keep up with my leather working as I level up, which is hard to do. You have to actually
It's
like
hard to do.
grind mobs to get like leather
Yeah,
to
you
craft
basically have
stuff.
to like if you have a choice between a kill quest that's to kill beasts versus a kill quest to kill humanoids, it's like, do I want to level leatherworking or do I want to be able to level first aid? Like you have to basically choose between the two.
Yeah. So one thing that's been helping this is I just not mindlessly because it's hardcore. I have to like think about it a little bit, but I'm just like farming the crocodiles out there in Lochmodon while I'm watching Netflix. And
I mean, that's
slowly
not a bad way to do it.
slowly leveling up. All right. So there is some new hardcore events coming out, and there was one hardcore
sure are.
event that you participated in recently. The one you did, which I saw another homie of mine also participated in, and I think he was in the winning group. and that was like the race to Razorfin Crow RFC in Orgrimmar.
Oh
And,
no, it was the
right?
Ragefire Chasm.
Ragefire Chasm, Razorfin Crow. Yeah, those ones.
The
they're all
one
the
you're
same.
thinking of is RFK.
RFK.
Crawls with the K in that one.
Yeah, I've had a couple
Sorry, bro,
drinks.
more lore stuff.
A couple drinks. This isn't just soda in this can.
Don't worry about it, bro. It's
Yeah,
lore.
you got me. Yeah, I was like, RFC, what is that? Razorfin? I
mean, it's good.
chose
Honestly,
the wrong
good
word.
guess.
Yeah. And so it was what, like 3 hours to level up, and then
Yeah, 3 hours of leveling, starting at level 1. And at the end of the 3 hours, we had to all be in front of the instance portal for RFC in Orgrimmar, like at the instance portal. And then we did a draft. There was some EU teams and some NA teams, and we did a draft where they picked team captains, and it was like, like schoolyard style, basically, like picking teams. And then once all the teams were picked, we took like a 5-10 minute break-ish sort of thing to make sure everybody was like ready to go, like get waters filled up, get fresh coffees, whatever, have a snack before we actually went. And then they hit go on the timer or whatever, and we all entered RFC. And it was the basically contest was to kill all 4 bosses. It wasn't like a full clear, like all trash and everything. It's just kill all 4 bosses. Whoever kills all 4 bosses the fastest wins. And a team from EU was the winning team. They had their captain was oh my god, I can't remember his name. I gotta look him up because I follow him on Twitch.
well, I got to shout out the other guy that was on that team, which was San Medina. He was the mage in their group. And he put out a little video on YouTube. It was like a 10-minute long video. It was just like a kind of like recap of like what he was. But I think he was like a level 10 mage when they started and got like a wand during the run. It was like killing mobs with the wand. And they were using like a warlock to tank stuff, like the warlock blueberry to tank like the big boss in the middle. Not like the last boss, I guess, but like the boss in the middle. Yeah. And I guess
Coltram is the guy. Coltram's who I'm thinking of. Sorry, he's the captain of the team. Coltram, he was a hunter.
But yeah, like in his video, he said that there was only like 4 teams left that actually like killed everything.
I think it was like 4 or 5 teams cleared. So Coltram's team was the winner. They won by like a half hour. The team I was in was second place. We were the first NA team to clear, but we were second place by like a half hour. Like that's how fast Coltram's team was. They friggin' pumped.
Yeah.
So it was a ton of fun though. Like it was a bloodbath. Like so many groups, like including my group, went in and immediately just started pulling, or like right away. A bunch of teams wiped on the first pull.
Jeez.
Because it was like worms and stuff, and like there were other teams that were doing stuff like skipping mobs and whatever, and there was like a couple of evade spots. So like you can, if you're trying to speed run the place, you hop up on like there's a little barrier on the right when you first enter the dungeon, and you walk along the barrier, and then you kind of go around the mobs, and then some of them will aggro you, but they'll start to chase you, and they'll have to go around. It's like a juggle spot.
Yeah.
They go around to follow you on the ledge, and then when you drop down from the ledge, they have to turn back around and go the long way. So that buys you enough time to get to the evade spot. You get up in the evade spot, wait till they all reset, and you basically just skipped like 12 mobs. So there was a team that tried to do that, but their last team member, their character model was too small to reach the evade spot. So they were the only person in the team that was not able to get into the evade spot. So the whole team had to jump back down to try and like to salvage it and just fight it and kill. It was like a 5 pull, and they all but wiped. Everybody but one person in the team died on that pull because of that one last player who was not able to get into the evade spot.
Damn.
But yeah, dude, it was a bloodbath. Like I think it was something like it was 18 NA teams and like 6 EU teams, I want to say. And at the end when all was said and done, there were 4 teams that cleared. So out of the 24 or 26 teams, I can't remember which it was total across EU and NA, only 4 teams cleared.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I thought more would have cleared it.
Kind of same, but like since it was only 3 hours of leveling, the highest level anybody was able to get to was 13.
Yeah.
So there was like a few 13s, there was like some 13 shamans, there was some 13 hunters, and then there was like a bunch of level 12s, a bunch of level 11s, and a bunch of level 10s. I was level 10 when I went in as a druid. So like I went, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like I was like, oh, I got to get bear form. Like if I'm going to get into the group, like I want to be able to tank, heal, or DPS. And I was like, I'm not going to tank RFC at level 10. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Like everything's going to crush me. I'm going to have like 350 HP max. Like there's no way.
200 mana.
Yeah, so like there's no way that it's gonna tank it. So I should have, if I had skipped bear form, I probably could have got to level 12 because I was like 4 bars away from 11 when we first started. I dinged 11 on the first bridge basically. But the team I was in, we ended up clearing. We had Sully, you know, Mr. Sully. He was
yeah, that's right.
He was in the team. He was on a shaman. We had our captain was Sims. He was a hunter. He was level 13. We had another shaman at level 11 named Stomping. Sully was 11. Sully was a Tauren. Stomping was a troll. So since Stomping started in the orc area, he was able to go to the barons a little quicker, and he got a cauldron stirrer like pretty early. So he was doing a lot of the tanking actually. It was him and Sim's pet, who he had a cat named Dog, which is, you know, Biss.
Of course.
Biss combo. So it was Dog and Stomping were doing most of the tanking, and me and Sully were both healing. And then we had a level 10 Warlock, and if it weren't, and the Warlock, his name was Pars, if it weren't for Pars's fears, we legit wouldn't have cleared. Like the fact that we had Pet Tank and Stomping tanking, me and Sully both healing, and then the Lock contributing with the fears, everything in there is fearable. If it weren't for the fears, we straight up would not have cleared the place. So we kited Taragamon for most of it. Because he was wrecking people. Like Taragamon is he F's hard. We'll leave it at that. A ton of groups wiped on Taragamon. So we basically kited him around, and we just killed him while kiting. And then we got a few, and he's stunnable too. I war stomped him at one point. I think Sully got off a war stomp too. We got a couple fears off. Like it was, I think we sticky glued him too. Like we kited him expertly and killed him. And basically after that, it was like, well, basically since we were able to kill him, like only a handful of groups were even able to kill him. Like all we got to do now is just not die and clear, and we can get second place easy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, tell me about how contested the quests were while trying to level for this. I heard it was kind of like rough. Like people were mob tagging. They were waiting in line for like named mobs for quests in order to get quests completed. Like, is that why people didn't really get higher level than like 10, 11?
That's part of it. Part of it was definitely congestion, and part of it also was, I think that probably is actually most of it is the congestion. And part of it also was that all of the alternate places that you could have gone there was like higher level mobs in between that would have made it too dangerous. So like it was basically like the players who got to who were able to get the first tags of things, or who avoided waiting in line for stuff and just grinded mobs to bypass that. They were able to get to the barons first, and basically if you got to the barons first, if you were in the first like 5 or 6 people to get to the barons, you broke away from the pack. So like I was pretty close to 11 when we started. If I had not done bear form, I was keeping pretty close with the hunters and the shamans for a while on a druid. So if I had not done bear form, if I hadn't taken that detour, I probably could have been 12 or 13 when the thing started. So like, because there weren't as many people in Mulgore. So Mulgore was pretty cozy. And of course, if you do all the Mulgore quests, like that's a lot of XP. Like if you do every single Mulgore quest, you can get to like maybe like 11 or even 12 just from those quests.
Oh yeah.
Because like I was almost level 11, and I hadn't even done all the quests in like Northern Mulgore yet. Like I didn't do any of the Harpy stuff. I didn't do the Venture Co stuff. Like I was I was that close to 11 from not even doing the Northern Mulgore stuff. So I don't know. Mulgore is a sleeper pick for a good zone to level in for speed tournaments.
Well, there's 2 more tournaments coming up this weekend, but the one that kind of like piggybacks off of this one is the Race to Wailing Caverns, and it's going to be Alliance this time.
That's next weekend. I thought it was this weekend.
Next weekend?
For some reason, it's next weekend.
January 28th. Oh, okay. Yeah. The week after. Okay.
Yeah, it's Alliance this time. And similarly, like it's Darkshore is going to be a good place to level, because to get to Wailing Caverns, like most people are going to either go, they're going to go through Ratchet. They're going to either try and do the swim down. Like if you start in the human areas, you're going to have to go through Westfall, swim to Booty Bay, take the boat to Ratchet, and get to Wailing Caverns that way. Or you start in the Night Elf zones and you go through Darkshore, then through Ashenvale, and then through the Barrens that way. So like if you're starting as a Night Elf, like a Druid, for example, your normal leveling route that you would want to take is going to be one of the more optimal ways to get to the Wailing Caverns anyway, which is like kind of awesome.
Yeah, this one is going to be on Season of Mastery.
Yeah, and Som is a little different because the XP gain from Quest is higher on Som than it is on Era. So the leveling meta on Som is going to be slightly different than it is on Era, where like on Era, there's certain things that you do to level quicker on Era that you either can't or shouldn't do on Som because it's like a waste of time, basically. Like normally, like you would on Era, you grind till 3 and then you start doing quests. If you do that on Som, you're gonna have a bad time because you get so much XP from quests that it's like, why would you choose ever to just grind mobs when you could just do a quest and get like 6 times the XP that you would have gotten from grinding mobs in that same amount of time?
Yeah, this one only 5.5 hours to get up to a level where you think you can get into Wailing Caverns. So like Classic Era, it was 3, right? For RFC?
Yeah, it was 3 for RFC. With Som having double quest XP, I don't think it's out of the question for people to get to even there might be some real pumpers that could get to 20 if they go super fast.
Dang.
And my goal, which I don't think is an unrealistic goal, is to get to 18 on a Druid. Before then, I'm going to skip Bear Form entirely. I'm going to skip Cure Poison. Although, like, I could probably do both just naturally while doing Darkshore quests, I suppose. So I might not need to skip them. But I'm definitely not going to do Aquatic Form. Like, you don't need Aquatic Form. I'm not doing that. But my goal is to get to 18 because Hibernate is going to be low-key really, really good in Wailing Caverns because there's a bunch of dinosaurs in there that are beasts that can be slept with Hibernate.
And raptors. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this one only has 10 drafted teams. So the RFC one, you said had like 24, 26 teams. This one is limited to 10 drafted teams. So like
the
50
RFC
players.
One did not have a limit on the amount of teams. It was just like, how many players do we have? Like, let's just pick the amount of captains, like total amount of participants divided by 5. That's how many captains, and then just have the captains pick. And if there's people that don't get picked, sorry, sucks to suck. Like maybe next time. Like sorry, you didn't do anything wrong. There just weren't enough spots. But this time it's a limited amount of teams, so that like if there's people going to be left out, a lot of people are going to be left out.
It's not gonna be like, yeah.
So it's one of those things where like, if you want to be on a team, you better be pumping.
I'll probably get left out, but this one I should be able to make. It's on a Saturday. I have Saturdays off. We do a GDKP Saturday nights, but since it starts at 10 a.m. and it's 5.5 hours, that's what... Oh, wait, that's Pacific time. Ooh, yikes. 10, 11, 12, 1. Ooh, this might cut it close, but I'm going to try this one. If I don't get drafted, that might be a blessing. So that I can make my GDKP that night. But if I do get drafted, I'm gonna cut it close.
I mean, what's more important, fake money in the game or fake clout in the game?
I mean, there's a $500 prize pool, so the real money is that's more enticing, I think.
I feel like that's a whole other separate conversation to have about it. My personal take on the whole prize pool thing is, you could have not done a prize, like they could have not done a prize pool and people still would have participated. Like adding money to the mix makes things weird sometimes. Like straight up, if I'm in the team that wins, I'm probably not going to keep my cut. I'm probably going to donate it to the USO because as far as I know, we're still doing the whole hardcore holidays thing.
Yeah.
And the USO is still like the benefiting agency or whatever. Like it's a fundraiser for them. So like if they are including this event in part of like the hardcore holidays like umbrella of events or whatever, then straight up, if I'm in the team that wins, I'm just going to donate my cut to the USO.
Or at least give some subs to like the organizers, like Gray's Cargos,
Yeah, something like that.
got you.
But
Yeah,
like, it's not about like I'm not participating for the money. There are people who
no.
are going to participate for the money, but it's not about that for me. It's about the spirit of competition, and it's going to be just fun. Like the fact that there's legit. It's a dungeon league. Like it's straight up a dungeon league that Grif and Co. Started up, and it's just super fun. It's just a fun idea, and I just want to be part of the whole thing. Like I don't really care about the money.
And then there's another event called Makgora, which
Oh, the Makara, yeah.
Makgora. Oh, you know how to say it. I don't know how to say it.
Well, they've said it out loud in like the actual game and like later expansions and stuff like that. So like there is a canon pronunciation actually.
I don't have in-game sounds turned on. I'm sorry. I don't listen to the voice actors.
I don't think they didn't say it in vanilla ever. It was like something that happened in like cinematics later on in later expansions. But it's a ritualistic duel that the orcs do, usually to like challenge authority and stuff. And if you win the Makara, then you are in charge now, basically. So it's like if there's a chief, like the war chief, for example, and you think the war chief's doing a shit job, then you can challenge the war chief to a Makara. And if you win, you're the war chief now.
So I've been watching Walking Dead. It's kind of like the Whispers. There's Alpha. If you want to be the new Alpha, you have to challenge her and take her out, and then you would be the new Alpha.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, this one's warrior only, so I don't really care about this one. I'm a druid.
Well,
I don't play other classes. But are you planning on doing this one, even though it's warrior?
Yeah, my old main in vanilla class was a warrior, so I know how to play warrior. And it seems like everybody's pretty dead set on either being troll or orc for this one. Troll because of berserking, and the fact that they start with throwing weapons. So if you play your cards right, you could get some throwing weapon hits in as a troll and get a little bit of extra damage out. And an orc, of course, blood fury. And I mean, trolls have berserking and stuff. So like, there's that. People are talking about Tauren for War Stomp. Me, meanwhile, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna roll a dwarf specifically because nobody else is gonna roll dwarf, and I got to rep.
I mean, you can.
I gotta rep the chonky boys.
You can find treasure easier to while
sure.
you level, and maybe there's gear in there.
But like unironically, I mean, like yeah, but like I didn't even think about that. But unironically, stone form could be huge because the main things that you can do to deal damage on a warrior at level 20 are like rend, and if you allocate your talents in a very specific way, you could also get 1 point into deep wounds. So you could potentially have 2 bleeds available to you to help do some damage and chip away at your opponent. And stone form removes bleeds and makes you immune to them for 8 seconds. So if I am against an opponent that is relying on dealing a lot of damage with bleeds, then for 8 seconds, they won't be able to do anything to me. But also really it's just because it's mostly like a purposely off meta pick because like dwarves are for sure not the meta choice at all. And that's kind of why I'm choosing to go with dwarf because I think it's funny. And also like at that level of play, like it's more about RNG. Like, oh no, I missed, or oh no, they dodged my hit or whatever. It's more about that than about the racial bonuses that you have. Like I would highly doubt that anybody's going to win the entire thing because of like a war stomp or a berserking or a blood fury or whatever. It's going to be RNG. Like you could have the person that has like the most loaded up gear imaginable, like the best RNG for the gear stuff, and they could still lose because they miss all their attacks and their opponent crits every time. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be way more about RNG than what race you chose. So that I think it more or less doesn't matter. Like, yes, it does matter. Like, the min-max answer is, yes, Orc, Troll, or Tauren are probably the best choices. But realistically, it's not going to matter at all because it's way more about RNG than it is about the racials. Because a Warrior in general, especially on Era, like Warrior and Hardcore, Warriors die in Hardcore because they just get a string of parries and dodges, and they're unable to do any damage to the enemy they're fighting. And it kills them from, like, 80% down to 0 just because the warrior got unlucky and didn't land a bunch of hits in a row. So like that could just happen in the Makara naturally because it's warriors. Like,
and it's so
it's
frustrating. Yeah, when I get a miss or anything like that as a caster, it's rough. But at least there's some distance between like me and the mob. But if you miss with your melee versus melee, you don't really have anywhere to go. You're still gonna take shots.
Yeah, the best you can hope to do is like Like something that I used to do while I was leveling my warrior in vanilla classic. I wasn't like doing it hardcore or anything like that because like I didn't really that wasn't on my radar at the time. But like what I would do is I would get up a hamstring and I would hit something with an auto attack and then I would get away from the mob like out of its melee range until my swing timer came back around and then I would go back in for another hit. Like specifically to take less damage while I was doing things because like that's kind of one of your only options to do. Like that's the only way that you can take less damage is just to not be able to be hit.
Yeah. So this one starts this weekend.
Yeah, it starts on
the
Sunday.
22nd.
Like people aren't allowed to start leveling their characters until Sunday, and then there's everybody has a week to get to level 20, and then once everybody gets to level 20, we're meeting at the Thousand Needles Lift in the Barrens, and that's where all the fights are going to take place. And the loser of each battle has to throw themselves off the lift.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds pretty sick. I didn't even see that part.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know if that's an official thing, but I mean, if I lose, that's what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, you're
I'm
sending
the crater
it.
at the bottom of the lift. That sounds like a hilarious thing to do.
All right, so that's all the hardcore stuff I think I had to talk about. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about hardcore related?
There is eventually they have the graphics made for a Dead Mines Cup as well.
Okay.
So there's the current one is going to be Wailing Caverns. There's going to be a Dead Mines one. If they follow the convention that they're doing with the Wailing Caverns one, being like, the Wailing Caverns, you could argue is a horde dungeon because it's in a horde zone, and they're having people start as alliance. I would wager a guess that the Dead Mines Cup is probably going to be a horde start. That's what I'm predicting. I haven't heard anybody say anything either way about it. Maybe somebody has said something since since I saw the graphic, but I'm not aware of anything official either way. But it would make sense to me if the starting for the Dead Mines Cup was a horde start because of the fact that they're doing a Lion start for the Wailing Caverns one.
Do you think they would move to Wrath for that one since they went from Classic Era to Season of Mastery? Do you think Wrath is the next step for Dead Mines or?
That's a good question. I think the only reason they did Psalm for the Wailing Caverns one is to speed up the leveling. I think that's the only reason why, is to make the leveling faster.
Yes.
Because the mobs are still of the same difficulty. It's literally the only thing that's different is that the quests give more XP. That's the only difference. Like everything still costs the same amount of mana. The mobs still have the same amount of health and do the same amount of damage. Literally the only difference is how much XP you get from quests. So other than that, it's still the same experience, I guess you could say, playing on Psalm versus Era.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they did it on Psalm, was just for faster leveling. So for the Dead Mines one, it might not be necessary to because I think Dead Mines is around the same level as Wailing Caverns, right? Maybe it's like a tiny bit lower level. So like I could see them doing that on Psalm as well. But like the current Psalm servers are going down in February. So there's and this event, the Wailing Caverns event, is basically like right before the servers shut down. So I don't know what timing wise things would be spaced out. I don't know how they would space things out, but there wouldn't be that much time left to do a Dead Mines one on Psalm unless they do Psalm 2. If a Season of Mastery Season 2 comes out, then we could probably do a Dead Mines Cup on Psalm 2. But other than that, it would probably have to be on Era because the next one probably wouldn't be fast enough or wouldn't come quickly enough to be able to be on Psalm before it gets shut down.
Yeah, if they drop Season of Mastery 2 in February, I'd be a little salty because Ulduar's just now starting up, pushed into high gear, and I think we'd probably still be in progression at that point. So it's
probably.
like,
I think most guilds probably would be. I feel like if they're going to do a Psalm 2, they got to wait till like April or May, I would think.
Yeah.
Like, that would make the most sense because people are kind of salty about when Psalm 1 came out, because Psalm 1 came out like around the same time that, like, what was it, like tier 5 or so in TBC?
Mm-hmm.
Which was like, people were like, well, I want to play Psalm, but I also want to progress in tier 5. Like, I don't want to, like, people resented Blizzard for making them choose between the two. Like, I think Blizzard miscalculated. They thought that people were only going to want to play one or the other when there was a ton of people who wanted to do both and they couldn't do both, so they were mad.
I had to make that choice, yeah. I chose TBC. I didn't choose Psalm. But yeah, that
Like
was
when I first heard
rough
about
one.
Psalm, I was like, why would I want to play vanilla again? But I was like still burned out from like the world buff meta, main tanking on a Fury Prot warrior, getting world buffs every single world, but getting fucking like Rend and Songflower every single time. Like basically leveling engineering for sappers, yeah, but also for the Everlook portal, so I could go get Songflower faster. Like, so it's just so dumb. Like it was. I did not enjoy the world buff meta as a main tank, because like if you're DPS and you go get world buffs, you're like, oh, I'm doing this for fun because I'm going to do more damage. As a tank, it was like I have to get these because if I don't, people are going to rip threat off me, and it's a required for me to be able to tank. So that made it not fun. When it was a requirement, when you had to do it, it instantly made it not fun anymore.
Yeah, I don't envy the tanks back then because I was a DPS going out there getting all the buffs. So yeah, if I ripped off my tank and I died because the tank didn't hold threat, I was mad. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that extra little bit of pressure, and like, I mean, obviously rolling a tank, I knew what I was getting into, but like, I knew that there was going to be like extra, stuff on my plate to have to worry about. But when I first made that character, I did not realize that getting every world buff every time was going to be part of that. I didn't think it was going to be that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get Edge Masters and be Fury Prot. Cool. I'm prepared for that. I was not prepared for having to get world buffs every time.
Yeah. And then Dark Moon Fair was always my favorite week.
Ooh, yeah.
Adding that one extra buff, but it was such a big buff.
I learned the hard way that the 10% armor buff is only your base armor, not your total armor. Because we were doing some Nax prog, and one of our officers was like absolutely convinced that the 10% armor buff from Darkmoon Fair was your whole armor, was all of your armor. So I was like, oh, sick. I didn't bother looking it up because I trusted this person. I went and got the buff, and I looked at my armor. And I was like, it should be at this level, but it's not anywhere close to that. And then I took all of my armor off and saw that the number was still green. And I was like, are you kidding me? It's only base armor. I have been baited.
Yeah. Damn.
So that was a little rough. I should have just got the damage one. Basically, pretty much that when that happened, I caught the other tank, like the other guy that I used to swap off. It was Yalm, actually. It was Yalm. Like that's who Grif plays with.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, Grif hasn't been raiding lately, but he's in Grif's guild, or was last I knew. I caught Yalm like right before he was about to also go do it. I was like, don't do it. It's only base armor. Get the damage one. Like we need somebody to have the damage one so they can main tank. So he got the damage one and he main tanked that night instead of me.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a good segue to get back into
Oh, sorry, that was a tangent.
Ulduar. No. You're fine.
See what happens, bro. You bring me on.
I was asking questions about it too. Like we were vibing over there, but I was trying to get back to phase 2 started yesterday. There were a couple things that happened yesterday, like a couple interesting things that some I had prepped for, some I didn't prep for. It's like one thing was somebody had come into my chat like yesterday or the day before, and they were like, "Are you gonna upgrade your Kirin Tor ring?" And I was like, I didn't really think about it because it's not like Abyss ring, so I didn't even have it on my radar.
Yeah, I didn't know about that at all because I didn't get one because I couldn't afford one. So like knowing about the upgrade is nice, but also it doesn't matter for me in particular because I can't afford one anyway.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I was level 80 after like grinding up there on launch. Within 15 minutes of being 80, I had already bought the ring.
Nice.
And I've used it as a teleport so many times. I used it equipped for a couple of weeks, at least until it got replaced. And now I did spend the extra 1K for me. I think it's a total of like 8,000 something if you buy it right now and then like upgrade it. It's a pretty big investment at this point if you don't have like the original version of the ring to upgrade it. But yeah, like I upgraded mine. It was like 10 extra spell power, like 0.9% crit, a little bit of haste. So I was like, yeah, I'll spend the 1K on it. So I upgraded my ring yesterday. My first phase 2 upgrade. Yay.
Nice. What eye level does it go to when you upgrade it?
225, I think. So it's like, it's weird.
That's 10-man normal Ulduar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the old 10-man eye level was 219, and they all got bumped up by 6.
Hmm.
So that's normal 10-man then, which is, I mean, that's still good. That's better. I don't think there's any 226 rings that dropped in Nax or in tier 7.
Just one.
So that's still higher eye level than all of the available rings from phase 1.
Yeah. And then I had gotten an alt up to 72 because Joyous Journeys ended yesterday. So
Oh, you got all the way to 72? Nice.
yeah, it's up to 72. I'm only gonna grind off my rested at this point since Joyous Journeys is gone. But I need that alt for herbalism to make my wild magic potions.
Honestly, dude, is it a druid?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm assuming you have enough for Swift.
I do. I might spend it.
It's for sure worth it. So
Yeah.
like, if you're I'm assuming he's Boomy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was literally my Boomy right now is like, I don't know, 76 or something like that. I was farming Adder's Tongue in Sholazar at 70. Like, as on that character, I had enough for Swift. I got Swift Light Form, and I was just flying around and getting all the stuff there. If there was a mob that was an aggressive mob that was near an herb that I wanted to pick, I would get far enough away, just summon Treants, go bird form, do pet attack at the thing, and get the herb and go away.
Yeah.
Or put up nature, like go midair, drop form, Nature's Grasp midair, go back flight form, get near the mob, let it hit you at Nature's Grasp, then you pick the herb and go away. Like, you don't need it to be 80 to be able to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
You could totally just do it right now and you'll be fine. What I'm saying is you don't need to level that all the way to 80. You're probably fine how you are.
It might not be 80 before I start to use it to farm. I do have I think I just got 109 potions made. So that might last me like 2 weeks. And
Potion spec?
No. I I buy all the stuff, or I don't buy it. Like, I farm all the stuff and I send it to my GM and he crafts it. He has an alch, like he has a potion master and a flask master. So I get all the mats, I send it over to him. He sends it back with all the procs and stuff included. So I sent him mats for 90. He sent me back 109. It's like, oh,
That's
that
pretty
works.
good proc, right?
Yeah. But yeah, like, hopefully I can slowly level the tune up so it's easier, so I don't have to like pop treants and stuff. Because I've done that before. I've farmed herbs like that, and it works. It gets the job done. But just being
It's definitely
80,
slower.
yeah, killing
It's
stuff.
also a pain in the ass if you summon treants and somebody else swoops in.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, really?
And treants is what, 3-minute cooldown. So if you find another herb, it's like, man.
What I used to do also is like, I would if when treants is on cooldown, I would like aggro a mob and then fly like on the ground, fly as far away from it as I could before it leashed, and then immediately just like fly up so that it would leash, and then immediately like fly all the way back to the herb. And usually when it resets, it takes like a second or two before it re-aggroes.
Yeah.
Usually I could get the gather cast off before it actually got to me to hit me to interrupt it.
Yeah.
So there's little things you can do to not have to rely on like all those things. Those are like all the low level tricks that you got to do. I did that stuff on my pally while mining in Winter Grasp also. Like, he was like level 71, 72 when I was mining in Winter Grasp.
Yeah. All right, my bladder's about to explode. I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
If you want to talk more about what you did yesterday, and then recap me when I get back. It's only gonna take me a second.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
How dare?
Because you were raiding last night. I saw you raided. You did 25 and 10 man?
Yep, we did 25 and 10.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell the people. So yeah, we did 25s and 10s last night. It was for our first experience with like the increased drops and stuff. So we kind of learned that like it's basically the 25-man bosses all drop 5 things now, which is kind of nuts. It looked like the Valor seemed like it was the same, but I wasn't really looking too closely at the amount of Valor. Like, I got the Satchel of Spoils from Obsidian Sanctum, and it was still only 5 emblems, so that's the only one that I actually like saw. So that it might be the same Valor gain, but the actual loot that drops is more on 25. It's 5 pieces per boss. And I got Chestguard of the Recluse. After it was the 3rd week in a row we saw one drop. The first week one dropped. I passed it to our assassination rogue. And the second week in a row that it dropped, I thought I was going to get it. I was like, oh, cool. I passed it to the rogue, so I'm probably getting the next one. Nice. Nope, it went to somebody else instead. And then it dropped again yesterday for the third week in a row somehow, after we had never seen it at all. We literally had never seen one until 3 weeks ago, and then we saw 3 in a row. So the third one went to me. So I got that. And I also got a Spire. What is it called? Spire of Sunset or something like that. It's a healing staff or a spell power staff, but I'm going to use it for healing. And I also got a Forethought Talisman last night as well to round out my potential Resto Weave set. So we did that. We did some of that stuff. Didn't have a chance to do any Titan Rune Dungeons yet, but seeing the increased amount of drops in 25 was actually insane. Like it was a lot of drops. And then in 10-man, similar deal. We saw the 25-man gear dropping in 10-man. A lot of really good stuff dropped in 10-man off of the 25 table. So it was definitely an interesting raid night. Like we're just getting showered in loot the whole time.
And we're doing 10-man tonight in like 45 minutes. And I'm hoping that one of my last pieces that has been eluding me drops. It's the caster leg pants from Malagos, the Leggings of the Wanton Spellcaster.
Oh, we saw those drop last night, actually. I think we saw them drop on 25, though. But still, like, it's still, you get an extra shot at them, really. As far as I know, it's all of the same bosses that drop the stuff from 25 are the same ones that drop everything in 10. Like, they didn't screw around any of the loot tables or anything like that.
Good.
Like, they just straight copy-pasted the loot tables from 25 onto the 10-man bosses. That's all they did.
Yeah.
But I was saying before, like when you were gone, it's 5 pieces, right? Like
it's still 5 in 10-man?
No, on 25 it was 5 pieces.
Oh yeah,
in 10-man, I think it's 3. But that's still like a lot.
Starth was 9 total items because it was like the Drake, the bag, the satchel, and then there was like 6 other pieces of loot. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Like it was insane how much loot dropped.
Actually nuts. The thing that I was saying though is I wasn't really paying attention to Valor gain because like I stopped caring about Valor like a few weeks ago, but I did win the Satchel of Spoils from Obsidian Sanctum this week, and I saw 5 emblems go into my like currency screen thing. So that made me think that the Valor gain is the same. It's just the loot that got increased.
Maybe. Yeah, because I didn't ever pay attention to it either, but I think the boss dropped 4. I don't know if they ever dropped 4, so maybe like the bosses.
For Valor?
Yeah, I think the bosses maybe doubled. Maybe the satchel stayed the same.
Jeez.
I don't know. Yeah, like I haven't paid attention to it either.
See how much Valor I have, but that seems excessive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good though, because like the one thing they need to do is that emblem trader, the one that like you can trade your emblems down. They need to do a thing where like there's a weak aura to do it for you. But they need to do a thing where you can shift click and buy and exchange a whole bunch at once, because like the thing that emblems are going to be useful for in future phases is buying epic gems. So with the way that the emblems are dropping, like if it's going to continue to be an increased drop rate off of Valor, then it's going to be like frozen ore prices are going to plummet because people are going to have more emblems than they know what to do with. So they're going to trade them down to buy orbs. And then they're going to do the same thing for epic gems. Like epic gems immediately are not going to be expensive because you can just accumulate a ton of Valor right now and then just exchange them for whatever emblem you need. I think it's going to be heroism to buy epic gems and then just be immediately all set with epic gems as soon as they become available, which is actually insane.
Yeah. Damn.
Or if they stay high in price, then accumulate your Valor so you can sell a bunch of gems and make a ton of money.
Yeah, so like 25, man, I did get 1 piece. Hopefully I get another piece tonight. And then Ulduar tomorrow. And it sucks. I'm not gonna get into the 10-man before the 25, I don't think. It'd be nice. But one thing I've been thinking about is like we could now get 1 epic gem from doing the fishing daily. And for casters, it's like instead of a 19 spell power gem, it's a 23 spell power gem. So at first I was like, man, like I really want to get this gem. And then like when I think about it, it's like, dude, it's 4 spell power. It's 4 spell power.
In the bucket.
Yeah, it's like 4 spell. Like, why am I freaking out about this? But I have been like fishing all day. Like for the past 24 hours, I fished 20 of the hours in game. It feels like trying to
Just
like
level fishing.
trying to level it on an alt. So like I've done the fishing daily yesterday and today on my main, and I'm trying to get it up. I think you have to be 350. That could just be me telling myself like a goal in my head, but for some reason like 350 felt like the right skill to be able to do the daily.
You can get the daily at level 1 fishing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I got the daily, but like it was the one for Winter Grasp. I flew over there and I fished and I got like 20 things and I didn't get one single like quest item fish.
Like if you're you can fish in any water now, but like if your skill is too low, you're just gonna catch junk. You're not gonna catch any actual fish.
Yeah, so I've been leveling it up. I think I'm at 250-ish, something like that. But I've been fishing, selling it on the auction house for like $8.50 a stack for the glacier fish from
the salmon.
The salmon, $8.50 a stack, like whatever.
It's one of the mats for fish feast too, so those will stay relevant.
And I've been like,
I would even say like, dude, hang on to them and wait until like Thursday and then start selling salmon because people are gonna be burning through fish feast while they're progging.
I'll have plenty more by then because I've been farming the pygmy fish too for my wild magic pots.
And those are used for the potion of speed also. So
those could probably sell too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's been kind of relaxing fishing and leveling that up again.
A lot of people hate fishing because they think it's really boring, and it is, but that's why it's chill.
Yeah. And then I was gonna like really try to like get all these gems and stuff. So like maybe it's important to like get them now and then keeping them in the bank until the next phase when they are not unique anymore, and then I can just finish like equip,
slam a bunch.
Yeah, put 20 in my gear at a time. Like as soon as phase 3 launches, just get like a whatever 50 spell power boost like that or something. But I'm not stressing out about that as much as I thought I was going to be doing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the whole cost benefit analysis, but with your time instead of like monetary stuff. Like how much of how is this even worth my time to do this? And like for some people it is, because like, oh dude, 4 spell power is 4 spell power. But also like, dude, 4 spell power, like what spell power are you normally sitting at with full raid buffs? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't know, 2400, something like that.
Yeah, so that's like what's 4 divided by 2400? Fucking let's do a little bit of math.
Zero. How many zeros after the decimal are there on the right?
It's 2 zeros.
Yeah.
Point 0016, and the 6 is repeating percent.
So if you times that by 1.32, which is how much spell power, like damage we get per spell power for Starfire cast.
Yeah, it's less than 0.002% of your spell power.
Oh gosh.
Which I mean makes sense because 2400 whatever. But like, come on, like really, it's to grind that hard for something that is that small of a gain. Like I get it. If you're actually trying to fully min max, yes, then you're going to do that, and that's makes sense for you to do that if you're fully min maxing. But for like the average person who like wants to do other things in game other than just grind for an epic, I mean, it's not going to be that much of a grind really, because all you got to do is the fishing daily, and if it's in the bag, it's in the bag. If it's not, and then it's not, like whatever. But like if you have multiple characters that could do the fishing daily, and you're spending 3 hours a day doing the fishing daily on 8 characters, like come on.
I want it to have in my gear for tomorrow just to flex on the raid. And just be like, yeah, I've got you guys don't have the epic gem? Are you guys even Ulduar prepped? Like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like,
yeah.
But I think, other than that, like, yeah.
For a day one thing to have it in your gear already, that's one of those things where like that's funny early, because it's like, oh, if it happened this early, it's luck. It's not because somebody grinded their face off for hours and hours. It's because they got lucky. And it was in like their first bag or whatever, or their first round of bags, depending on how many ults they have. But like, in like a week or two, that's when it'll turn from being like, oh, that person got lucky, into like, I'm not sure if that person's lucky or extremely sweaty.
Yeah, and I'm not paying for it on the auction house. I haven't even looked to see how much they're going for, but yeah, no.
Dude, honestly, bro, If I get one, I'm selling it. I'm not gonna put that in my gear. If I get one, I guess it depends on which one I get. If I get a spell power one, I'll probably sell it. If I get like an agility one, I'll probably keep the agility one. If I get a strength one, for sure selling the strength one.
I gotta see
There's
what
going to be
what they're
some
going
sweat
for.
lord who's going to be like, "Oh my god, a strength! Everything strength related at all is always way more expensive."
Yeah. All right, what other notes did I have here? Because we got about 10 minutes, and then I got to bounce. I got there's 10 mans to get into. So like
True.
the patch notes, did you look through all the patch notes for phase 2? Because there was only one that I saw that caught my eye.
I didn't. How different is it from the last round of patch notes from the PTR? Is it basically the same thing?
There was a lot of different notes.
Really? Oh, geez, I didn't even see.
And a couple things like in game too that I noticed, like the auction house changed a little bit.
Oh, I did notice that.
And then
my add-ons were not liking it.
Yeah, like it seemed okay. But there wasn't anything Druid specific. There was a couple like hunter things, maybe like a DK thing or two. A couple like class specific things, but the only thing that I saw that like I could relate to is I'm on a PvE server, and it took a couple weeks, if not like the first month and a half, to figure out what was causing people to get flagged during Malagos, and it's because we were throwing Serenite bombs, and it was doing siege damage, and the siege damage was flagging people for PvP. So I would throw, like, I had a macro for Starfall. I would Starfall and throw a Serenite bomb. It would flag me, and then
and you wouldn't get lust.
The lust would go out. I wouldn't get it. Or I would get lucky. The shaman that lusted also threw a bomb, and it would only be like 3 or 4 of us that threw a bomb, got flagged, would get lust. And they finally fixed it in phase 2. Like...
That's so dumb, but so funny.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are like, what's the problem? And like I'm telling them, it's like, yeah, I got to switch my macro and put on my normal Starfall. They're like, oh, I'm from a PvP server. I never even like it. That doesn't phase us at all. And I'm like,
yeah,
man,
everybody's flagged anyway.
Yeah, everyone's always
so
flagged
funny.
on PvP
That's
server.
Like actually really, really funny.
Yeah, so that was the only patch note that I saw that I could relate to.
I mean, that's good that they finally fixed it. It's just funny that they fixed it after it doesn't matter anymore.
Exactly, yeah. It's like too little, too late. Like, they spent this time to fix this when it doesn't matter anymore. Like, thanks,
I mean,
Blizzard.
better late than never, I guess, right?
Yeah. And a lot of broken add-ons yesterday. I don't really use that many, but I think I might have to disable Questy for a while. I only updated 2 add-ons yesterday. I updated DBM and I updated Details. So I'm curious how many add-ons you experienced that were broken still, and how many you updated.
I use Taco Tip for my tooltips, because the place on my screen where I like to have my damage meters, or no, not even damage, my raid frames, is the default place where tooltips appear, and I don't want my tooltips to be in the middle of my raid frame, so I needed a tooltip add-on to move where the tooltip displays. So Taco Tip is the one that I use to do that. I used to use a different one. It stopped working. You know, it's the whole thing. Taco Tip was not working properly because it's not just like player tooltips. It's all tooltips that it does for that add-on. And there was something wrong with Taco Tip to the point where I would mouse over anything, literally anything, an item from my bag, a stat on my character sheet, my own player frame, whatever, didn't matter. It would show the information for like a split second, like 0.2 of a second, and then it would immediately just disappear for no reason. And it would just be an empty square. I was like, well, come on. Like, so that was not helpful because I couldn't like compare my own, I couldn't compare gear. Like when a piece of gear dropped in the raid, I was like, well, I mean, I've seen that piece drop so many times, but like, how good is it actually? Like, should I actually try and grab that for like off spec or whatever? Didn't matter because I couldn't tell what the stats were because my tooltip thing was broken. So that was kind of a drag.
Yeah.
There was a couple other things that were like, I got a bunch of Lua errors there. I got so many Lua errors when I logged in that it was like Details was having problems. Like in my chat, my entire chat box was completely filled up with spam from Details about how like it couldn't find, there was something that it couldn't find having to do with like health stones and potions or something like that. And it was just spamming my entire chat box with that error. And I was like, I don't even know what this error is. I don't even know how to fix this. All I know is that nobody can say anything to me at all because I immediately can't see what they said anymore because it gets buried in Details spam.
Yeah.
So that was annoying.
I know our tank had like shadow unit frames and like that was messed up. So we had like a pull timer for like the first trash pack to get the run started. And it got down to like 3, 2, and he's like, hold on, wait. And like the hunter had already gone up and like started to like pull an MD and all this stuff. And like we were fine, but it was just like that last second, like, oh wait, this add-on just like messed up. Like they didn't see the pull down, like the countdown timer. So like they needed to get that like situated for the rest of the run before we kept going.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We had actually one of our raid leader had a similar thing too with DBM.
Mm-hmm.
With the pull timer with that. It wasn't even shadowed unit frames, it was just straight up DBM, I guess. So that was an issue. I'm trying to think, there was something else that happened too that was really stupid. Oh, Atlas was not working right.
Yeah, it's all busted. Damn.
So I mean, though, it's usually only like a day or two that's broken. Like and most of the add-on devs are doing it as like a hobby. So like it doesn't help matters at all when people are like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. You need to fix this. Like, bro, you're not paying for the add-on. You don't get to make demands of somebody who's volunteering their time to do a nice thing for the entire community by making this add-on. You do not get to make demands of people like you're yelling at a customer service agent. Like those people need to go sit the fuck down. Like it actually tilts me that people are mean to add-on devs like that. Like they're volunteering their time. Shut up.
I heard that there's one add-on.
Hot take of the day.
Oh, that's a good hot take. But I heard there's one add-on that's not going to get worked on anymore, and it's the GDKP add-on.
Oh, really?
I heard it's not getting updated anymore. Like, but maybe it's because people were rude to that dev, and they were like,
be it, man.
They were just like spamming him with like insults or something, and he was like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm not going to update the add-on.
You know what? Good.
That's what can happen.
Good for that person.
I don't know if that's what happened,
they should
but
have done.
Yeah, that could be just me making that up. But
I mean, I honestly, if that's the reason why, that's an incredibly good reason, and I kind of hope that's the reason now.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't, because then that means that somebody went through a bunch of unnecessary flack for no reason.
Yeah.
And that's a stupid thing to wish.
Yeah. Oh, I checked the gold price for the epic gem. So the spell power one is the cheapest right now. This is on Mankrik, 550 gold for the 23 spell power. There's the delicate storm jewel, which is 20 agility. The cheapest one is 1600 for that. And then the strength one, there's a bunch listed starting at like 6k, but the cheapest one is like 3k. But yeah,
that's got to be a troll, man.
20 strength is definitely the most expensive one.
There's no way. Like, I knew that strength was going to be the most expensive one. I'm super surprised, considering the spell power one is 550 or whatever. Yeah. I'm surprised the agility one is 16.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what surprises me. And like that's got to be a troll. Those people putting that up there cannot expect to actually be getting that amount for those gems. There's no way that somebody's going to actually pay that amount.
I don't know. People want that thing, the shiny, the purple pixels.
It's purple. Ooh. Bro, if you want a purple gems, just be a jewel crafter, bro. You get 3.
I mean, people are paying over 1 million gold for Valinir, so
oh my god,
people have disposable income here.
This is out of control.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ours is like where in the GDKP that my guild does that I usually run with. There's a Valinir auction. It's up to somebody had bid 3k, but it's down to 2.6.
For a shard?
Just for one, yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
That's weird. It was 3k. Now it's 2.6.
Meanwhile, here I am chilling at like just under 5k across all the tunes that I have on Wrath. Because like I don't need it for, what do I need it for? I need it for like buying flasks. Yeah. Whatever, dude. I'll pay like 11 gold for a stack of flasks. That's fine. I can afford that. Repairs, that doesn't matter. Like I don't need gold for anything. I don't run GDKPs. Like the gear that I get from guild runs. Like I don't.
Yeah, that's all I would spend my gold on. It would be to like buy Valinir.
That's like unfathomable. That's like
1
million gold in game is how I feel about 1 million gold in real life. Like sounds great. Would love to have it. Not gonna happen though.
Somebody had posted it. I think it was in my Discord somewhere. I need to find it to see how much it was. Yeah, I guess it was just 1 million. It was just you can see the auctions. It's like 650k, like 660. It goes up like 8, 9, like 100,000 gold. So yeah, 1 million. Fucking crazy.
That's actually stupid. But also, like, I mean, it's less stupid that the who is it? What is it more? Is it more stupid that the person wanted to spend the money on it,
I think it's.
or is it more stupid to be the person who allowed it to go for that amount? I guess.
I think it's a 40k payout per person. I guess if it's split just that evenly with no like cuts or nothing like that. So like 40k is per person. I'd take it, but I don't see how like they didn't just stop like bidding on that one and just go to a different GDKP and like start bidding over again at like 200k or whatever it's going for in a different run. Like what made that run so special that they were just committed to just bid all the way up to 1 million?
Yeah, that's insane, bro. I know that I don't know if this is going to be the same way in Wrath Classic, but I know in Vanilla Classic there were some like those super top end guilds. Instead of raiding, like they would do a clear, they would do like the first clear or whatever as their guild to try and get the clear. And then when they want to try and go for speed or for parses or whatever, what they would do is they would basically have all of their raiders join different GDKPs and then give them gold from like the guild funds and tell them spend whatever you need to get all of the good gear. Even if you don't need it, buy all of the good gear that drops just so other guilds can't have it. So we have an advantage on speed runs.
Dang. That's not where I thought you were going with that, but that's pretty
like it was
pretty cool.
It was just as much to like acquire the gear for themselves as it was to prevent other people from getting the gear.
Jeez.
Like that's what I mean by like I've said before about how like the speedrunning scene in Vanilla Classic was super toxic. And that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
guilds were doing that.
Yeah. All right. One last thing to talk about here. There was a couple other things we didn't get to, but this one was an idea we had talked briefly about earlier today. The Druid only Tier 7 World Tour event, possibly a couple months maybe down the line here. But
yeah, once progression is done, once people are like settling into like farm mode for Ulduar, basically, is when I was thinking would be a good time for that. Like not taking away anybody's prog time, doing it at a time and on a server that is like neutral, so that nobody is like feeling slighted in any way. Like for example, it probably shouldn't be on Mankrik or Pagel because that's where we both play, and that would be kind of silly to be like, oh, we'll organize an event. Hey, you guys come to our server. It's like, nah, if we're re-rolling too, if we're rolling fresh druids for it also, then I feel like that makes it more likely that people want to participate because we also have to roll fresh.
Were you thinking just like 10 man?
Probably just 10.
Yeah.
Because like I was thinking that it would be cool to do the Tier 7 World Tour and then potentially do Tier 8 also, and maybe cap it off with a Druid-only Herald of the Titans. Maybe.
Yeah, so I'll be keeping an eye out. Keep me posted if you end up like coming up with something in the next couple of weeks or whatever.
I'll kick around some more ideas on it, but that's just to let anybody who's watching know that that's a thing that we're thinking about doing. So if there is actually interest in like our, the greater Druid community for doing something like that, then it's definitely something that we can put a little more effort into making happen.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's pretty much just an idea, like hey, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I'd love to do like a pure Boomy only run. I know somebody tried to do that back on like the beta, and it was not so good for Nax.
Well, you got to have like Restokin healers and probably like a Panzerkin tank.
So yeah, like Druid, like just limiting it to Druid, like whatever spec, that sounds like it'd be a blast anyways. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks Table for coming back. This is like
always a pleasure.
Your 10th time here. You've been on more times than Grif. So
that can't be true.
I don't know.
I don't care if it's true. It's funny, so let's just keep saying it.
Yeah. Good luck on your hardcore tunes. Maybe we can get something going on hardcore too. Just hit me up.
Duo would be fun.
Hit me up. There's Table's YouTube in the chat, and you can find his Twitch from the YouTube, I imagine. but let me find that real quick. Table slam. Table underscore slam. Here we go.
Yeah, underscore. Because just regular old table slam was taken, and I looked them up, and they had like 1 follower and had never streamed. And I was like, cool, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Can't use my own name.
But he's feral extraordinaire main. Been doing Pornhub. Yeah, that link is it's retired. It's retired.
Grif.
It didn't get off the ground, like I tried it for a little while. Not enough people watched that, so I took it off.
Why is that a thing? Oh my god, I fucking love you, Grif.
Yeah. And thanks, Grif, for hanging out tonight, and I'll see you all later. I gotta get to raid. I gotta eat real quick before the raid starts. I might start the stream back up. I don't know. I might just chill tonight. We'll see. You plan on streaming tonight, Table?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat too, and I'm probably gonna do. Maybe I'll do some cave stuff. I did start a new druid. He's level 11 now. His name is HC Servers When.
Nice.
Or it's just server, singular server. HC Server When is the name of the guy.
And that would probably be on Twitch, right?
Yeah, I'll be on Twitch probably.
Cool. All right.